tell us what you have to say. We know the dreams and nightmares must light your way. What may come, the fight goes on for one more day. Whenever lives and prayers must die away, who brought this curse and led us all astray? The day has died and emotion is vague. Wake up, my friends, the dreams and nightmares will die for just one more day.
And welcome to the next session, everybody. Which one are we on? 5? I think 5?
I haven't
Something
been
like that.
numbering them.
4. Nope, this is 5. Because we had When Worlds Collide, and it's 5 o'clock somewhere, then Divine Mayhem and Monstrous Disasters, then Mismatched Misinformation and Melancholic Method, then Problematic Prophecies of Perseverance, and now tonight... Oh crap, I lost link. What was it? Deferred Dogmatic Delinquency. I'm not apologizing. So anyway...
apologizing for you. I apologize for him.
You don't speak for me. You're not my keeper. You're just my hetero life partner.
I apologize for him.
You're my wife, not my keeper.
Don't lick me!
I didn't.
I'm hearing 2 stories here.
Which do you believe?
Well, knowing Matt and knowing you, I prefer to believe you, Cassie.
Hey, she's the one that beats me.
Also,
Ow!
Yeah, I barely touched you.
Also, despite us being hetero life partners, I also tend to believe Cassie on anything that involves your tongue.
How often
Fair.
do I talk about his tongue?
Never, because I don't use it.
That's what lends it credibility.
Right? Ugh.
Anyway. So, when we left off, your guys' characters, well, one of you was asleep, and 3 characters had been discussing the idea of going to this other little, I guess, city-state thing would be the best way of going about it.
I'm guessing I was asleep.
You were asleep.
It's okay. We plugged you into a light socket to make your portal powers work and got out.
Oh, well, that's fine then.
This never
Yeah.
happened.
So, over by the West Ring, there is a trio of cities that are kind of all the same little city-state thing. Sacratoma, Emerald Brook, and Steeldale. All 3 are, in fact, major cities.
So we
Oh,
decided we
shit.
weren't going to go to Wild West Town?
No, I believe that the thing that ended up being decided was that whatever had been going...
We were going to go by one of the columns of the ring.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah, because you guys were gonna go over here and get yourselves established, try and get a little bit of faith income set up, as it were, and then go from there to figure out where else you wanted to just go dick around. Because I believe that the thing for Silent Springs was that it was kind of one of, I believe that the the demeanor was, you know what happened last night kind of doesn't really matter anymore. We're probably not going to remember. Let's just go do something productive.
Okay.
But anyway, so there was some discussion away from session where where each of you guys had come up with at least a little bit of dogma that your characters wanted to come up with, and or not come up with, sorry, but have your characters want to push, right?
Right.
So, how long do we want to say that your characters were noodling this out? Like a month or 6?
5 minutes, then we just ran off, half cocked.
Josh, I think you were going to say something.
I was sitting here like, you know, I'd like to say we'd be more responsible than that, but Emily has a fucking point. Dicker would probably scrawl his entire dogma on the back of a napkin and a greasy spoon somewhere and be like, yep, that's good. Onwards!
So then the question becomes, would Transit or Maricel be the ones...
Bring sanity to
Yeah,
these two
pretty
people
much.
who are just too into this.
I don't know, because what I came up with is pretty much what Transit is anyway. So
Mm-hmm.
so I think he'd be pretty quick to develop his own.
Okay.
I would say
What about you, Cassie?
Hmm? I didn't hear what you said.
So, how long do you think Maricel would take to have figured out what she would have wanted to do for her dogma?
It would have been fairly quickly, the whole wanting to continue to look at oneself and challenge your own opinions, challenge yourself to be better is probably the biggest part of her dogma that is, who she is as a person. That part might have taken a little bit longer for her to decide to actually use as a dogma, because she would have been up in the air of, do I just focus on the technology aspect of it as a demigod of, Deus Ex, or do I go and make it useful for all areas of life? And so it might have taken her a little bit longer to decide, you know what, let's go with the all areas of life things.
Okay, but then weren't you? Because I remember that was the thing that you had been waffling on, because you guys were also planning on trying to set yourselves up as a pantheon.
Yes, and so that's why I was saying it would have taken her a little bit longer to make that particular choice, but she would have made it. She would, have that as being part of her dogma.
Okay, so give me a time frame then. I don't know, maybe a few days. Okay, that's fine. So all in all, pretty quick.
I guess considering that we are trying to set up like a group pantheon rather than individually, that we might take some time, maybe over coffee and pancakes at some greasy spoon in the city, to be like, okay, let us compare notes on what we're gonna do, and and make decision on how it all kind of fits together. Maybe, I don't know.
Oh, which to that end, that reminds me of a thing. I'm going to move us back over to the session. There is a.
I was going to draw on the map.
So I'm throwing down a blanket compel. If anybody, it is again using campaign aspect number 3. I guess it's partly 3, partly 4, but this is more of a, if anybody wants to have an additional hook thrown into their particular dogma, but we can get to that in a few.
I see.
Pretty much, I throw a wild card compel onto the field. There's a trap card out.
Gasps.
Yep. Do you want the extra fate point or no? I'll let you guys mull that one over.
I take it.
Yeah, you want to take it now?
Yeah, I'll take it.
Okay.
Digger needs more fate point.
Okay. So, considering that you guys are setting up a pantheon, one of the things that helps a lot of people identify with an entity or any person, even, is not just, oh, well, what do you stand for, but what are you opposed to? You guys, at the moment, other than certain ideological things, don't have an opposition. You guys could play both sides of the field, and one of you could be the enemy of the Pantheon.
Okay, so...
Oh dear.
Oh dear. So...
That's bindweed. No, just joking.
The two big ones that I thought of is there are interestingly a number of parallels between Digger and Apep, and Transit already has people that are gunning for him.
That is true.
Now, by the enemy of the Pantheon, like,
so
I kind of see less like the enemy of the Pantheon, but the one who is still part of the Pantheon that doesn't have as many worshippers, like, isn't, or is considered the bad one of the Pantheon or whatever. Like, isn't Vecna technically part of the whole Pantheon in D&D, one of those Pantheons?
No, because in Dungeons & Dragons, they're not a Pantheon.
Oh, there's some that have Pantheons, and I couldn't remember which ones did and didn't.
No, in 3.5, they are not a Pantheon because even those that are on the same side of the alignment spectrum are in a number of ways opposed to one another. So it doesn't really work out.
So when you're saying like one of them could be the opposing deity, would be kind of like Hades in the Greek pantheon, right? Or am I misunderstanding?
Sorry, somebody was talking at me. I missed.
Sorry.
What was your question, Jimmy?
So being the quote unquote opposing deity in the pantheon, that would be similar to Hades.
Disney's version of Hades, sure.
Yeah, because I've forgotten most of Greek mythology.
Actual Greek mythology, Hades was like the most chill dude. Once if with exception to the whole kidnapping of Persephone thing, because he wanted a wife and she was pretty. But ancient Greeks, that's kind of how all of their stories go. Hades was actually respected as a deity among the Greek pantheon because he had a super, super important job. and just it's honestly because of the modern interpretation of Abrahamic religions, where the underworld and hell and all that jazz is viewed as a punishment. No souls went to Olympus; they all went to the underworld, and he was their king and steward.
Okay.
So, yeah, more Disney Hades, where it's like, yeah, I do my job, but I'm just super angry about it. Like, you could potentially take that route, or you could go straight up like, no, this other dude is like totes a destroyer or some nonsense.
So we should probably put this compel into actual in-character scene.
Yes. So just to set the scene and try and give a little bit of direction for the session. We'll say that, again, even if it only took you guys a couple of days to figure out. Interesting, Cassie's screen is showing different stuff on Roll20 than mine.
And we are well aware that Roll20 sometimes gets desynced.
Yeah, a little bit. Anyway, so it's been we're going to pass the. It's been a couple of days, and you guys already figured out what your dogma is. You've all been chilling out in this city for a good while now. Well, and we'll say it's been a couple of months. So what I want to know is, first of all, like, where, what was everybody's living situation going to be?
Well, the last time I remember playing, Mari wanted to go back to the ring. Was that for a long period of time, or was it just for like a drop off and come back?
So when I had wanted to go back to the ring, that was like right after we dealt with the
bad guys.
It was right after we dealt with the bad guys, before we had even come up with the idea of starting the church. So no, we weren't back for a while.
Yeah, I also feel bad because not only did I miss the last session, but the session before that, I fell asleep partway through. I'm sorry.
It's all good.
I have learned that gaming while lying down is not going to happen.
Okay, so what I'm asking is, while you guys are working in this area long term, what is it you guys are doing? Like, are you guys wanting to go live somewhere else and then just come back to periodically do stuff? Or are you going to be living in the area and doing more consistent stuff in the long term?
Well, I think for as far as transit's concerned, he might have gone back and forth to his point in the ring to check on things.
I could always try a roll.
What are you thinking?
I got a decent level of contacts. I could see if I can talk some people around, see if I could find us a place. Digger knows people everywhere. Yeah,
contacts would work. Resources would work if you guys wanted it. Oh god, I can see it now. Just big house, demigods edition.
I have a fair amount of skill and resources. What part of my plan had been was actually thinking about starting a school.
Okay, we're not getting to that yet. I want just. Are you guys staying, like, living in the area, or are you going to come back to work on stuff?
I was gonna live there.
Yeah, I'm gonna live there.
I'm leaning towards that too.
Okay, and then Jimmy's being the guy who can teleport as much as he wants, is gonna be like, I'll float.
Yeah, I'd probably be about 50-50.
Okay, cool beans. So, what we're going to do then, I'm to set the scene for you guys discussing how you are going to go about getting these dogmas in place and whatnot.
And
Anyway, sorry, it cut out for a second. So, but kind of like one of the comments Josh made offhand. You guys are at some, like, okay, you remember the Star Wars prequels when Obi-Wan went to go meet that contact of his on Coruscant? It's like, it is literally a, like, dive diner.
I was about to say, we're eating at a 50s style diner, but it's Greasy Spoon?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Like, you could just imagine any second now, like, Guy Fieri's gonna walk in and be like, I heard that there's a fucking Chipotle pork something or another friggin' hot dog burger here that I need to eat.
The minute he shows up, I'm fucking out.
That's way too modern. This is 90s, remember?
oh yeah, he didn't get
Like, I'm saying you could imagine him doing it. Guy Fieri, yeah, he's not there.
I will say though that Digger is probably eating this food article. He has it before him, as everyone's talking about. He's just eating it. It's like the greasiest, most disgusting, most like will clog your arteries to death thing, and he's just like casually eating it.
All right, and so while he's got this like 12-inch across burger in his hands, the waitress just to dive straight in character, the waitress is staring at him like enthralled and disgusted, and while she's staring without blinking at him, she says to the rest of the group, "Is there anything else I can get you guys?"
I'm trying to think if he wants anything.
Okay, I'll let you. And she just is obviously looking for. She says, "Okay, I'll come back."
Yeah, we're thinking about it.
Okay.
Because in all honesty, Digger is turning Jimmy's stomach.
Anyway,
Digger turns around.
Damn it, Jameson, we can't take you anywhere.
No, he turns around at the shout. I think that dude followed us. That he has an equally noisy brother.
in a completely different region.
Oh, they'll be in the same region here in a minute if he keeps it up.
I turned him off.
Anyway, so Digger passes over his notes of what he's planning to do for Dogma. I guess I'll repost my little 9-point thing into Roll20. Ah, crap! I can't do that because I'm streaming. Crap! Sorry.
No, you do your thing. I got you covered.
Okay. And he's written 9 points on a napkin that is slightly splattered with like Chipotle super burger juice. He passes that across the table.
Oh, damn, I didn't do that. I probably should have done that, huh?
Yeah, it's just how I did it. No one did it by like 9 bulleted point commandment style. Only I did.
I was gonna say, I can't make a joke about tablets on a mountain because we're in a different universe.
Oh, which, by the way, as like an official thing that needs to be recognized, is I would like to just mention, like, so, Josh, we have how many people that are subscribed to this? Like 15, you said?
13.
5? 13? Okay. I got proportionally a lot of messages about how Jesus is not the god of wine.
Oh, really?
That was my fault too.
Wait, what?
Oh, you missed it.
Okay,
So
last time Cassie was setting up what we should do, and I was like, oh, so you want us to do the whole, Jesus thing, and
by being nice.
and no, of course the world is all messed up now, so there was there's no Jesus, and someone was like, who's Jesus? I was like, I don't know, the demigod of wine.
Oh,
That was Mari. She's like, who's Jesus?
so
Anyway,
It's great that Matt got shit for it.
yeah, it's hilarious. Anyway, so back into character. So yeah, there's the 9-point thing, and then Transit looks at us like, oh shit, I should have done that.
Yeah, pretty much.
Digger looks at what everyone else is doing. Why did I do it different from everyone else?
I'm sitting here with like the 90s. Well, I've got like a PDA and everything's on my PDA.
It's like a super early BlackBerry.
Pretty much.
Wait, what was that company called? Palm. The little Palm device things.
The Palm
Yeah.
Pilot?
Palm Pilot.
Yeah,
there
the
we
Palm
go.
Pilot.
Yeah, they don't make those anymore, do they?
No.
No.
Yeah.
What? See, I think out of character I messed up. Mine's all in the third person.
Whatever. It's not in the stream anyway, so the principles are there, so it's all at a glance.
Anyway, so yeah, as we're comparing notes, Digger like takes a moment where he's like got the burger like half in his mouth, and then stops and seems to think.
Please swallow. Please swallow.
1 second.
Please swallow.
Oh my.
And that's when I accept the compel.
Okay. So, at that point, what we're going to go with, as far as how the compel is phrased, is that given what you guys understand of the society that you're going to be trying to build these religions in, you know that people in this society are define things just as much by what they are against as what they are for. And the only way for you guys to be for something to stand against you in a legitimate context, if you are divine creatures, is for it to be another thing of divinity.
So Digger hears this in his head, basically.
As far as like the actual whisper itself, it would be something along the lines of, they won't believe you unless you claim your friend is your enemy.
Okay. So at that point, Digger sets down the burger and swallows. A thought. Do we need some form of a opposition or bad guy?
I don't care.
Well, it's... But what would be the bad guy? Like, it's a good idea.
It's just something that occurred to me, that our people tend to flock to us when there's a usefulness to us, or at least that's what it seems, right? But monsters can't be everything. And we as, I don't know, I guess not wanting to stir up like a fuss in the diner, he kind of gets in close and conspiratorial, and he goes, you know, divinities are sometimes opposed to one another. Not
But yeah.
He kind of reaches across the table and takes everyone's ideas. Is there any one of us that could be naturally opposed to the others and maybe play, I don't want to say bad guy, bad cop? The spooky thing that keeps people in line?
While I feel like I could be good at that, nature is neutral, and I would need to remain thus.
He kind of compares Chloe and Jameson stuff, and it's like, you know, me and you seem kind of complementary and yet opposite sides of the coin. Yeah. And me and Transit seem to have complementary ideas here.
I worry what will happen to, well, what would happen to the person who is the enemy? Won't they have less followers?
Less direct followers, but I mean, if we're being worshipped as a pantheon, if they believe in us, they believe in them, right? So.
But they won't necessarily pray to them.
Not directly, but they still believe in us, so they believe in them. We're a package deal.
Well, how would we have them be the whatever, bad guy or opposed opposition?
Pretty much just enforce the other side of things. Like, really not good at being the bad guy.
That's the problem.
Well, I mean,
I'll be right back.
Hang on.
I suppose it's just a matter of dogma. If we say that, you know, one of us is the boogeyman that will come and punish you if you do wrong, then they'll believe it eventually, right?
I wonder if I could tack that onto mine. I mean, I'm about protection. You know, I'm against slavery and and stuff like that. But what if I can best be a boogeyman as well?
You can be anywhere, and punishment thinks about prison. Prisons are barriers that keep the bad from
And
getting out.
you know, there's something to be said that no doors should be locked, should be left unopened in my dogma. Like, always explore, always seek new things.
And that puts you in transit on opposite sides of the coin, like me and Bindweed. Bindweed is strength, I'm protection.
But in order to best represent a boogeyman, you need to be able to go anywhere.
It's true.
And I can do that. I mean, my beneficial side can still be there, right? It's just how can I add to it to still benefit that, but
I don't think you have to lose your beneficial side.
well, but how do I increase my malevolent side?
So perhaps we could think of like how Deus Ex is the god of technology. That's his domain. Maybe giving these pantheons, or giving us in the pantheon more specific domains, you know, just being of doors and portals might not be enough, but saying that you are of, you know, the opening and closing more specifically might also make it sound.
The opener and closer of ways, you mean?
Yeah. Because that sounds more ominous.
I could see it. Yeah. If you work alongside and stay true to the pantheon's ideals, it works. If not, transit comes along to shut you out. Chloe,
Like,
you've been quiet.
What?
You've been quiet on this.
Uh-huh.
Nothing to add.
I don't know. I mean, honestly, this whole opposition thing, like I said, I don't have a side exactly.
But I do. And I
And
can be the boogeyman.
the closest thing I could think of to opposition would probably be Maricel. Progress can be, can upset the balance of nature. But that's all I got. And I don't specifically necessarily want to make anyone into the bad guy here.
At which point the waitress walks up. Did any of you think of anything you would like to get?
Coffee. That's about it.
Milkshake!
Milkshake.
What kind
Oh,
of milkshake
God,
do you
Born.
like?
Chocolate.
Something
Double
fruity.
chocolate.
At which point the waitress looks at you and looks at your half-eaten Disgusto burger and is imagining the idea of a fruity flavor going along with your lard burger, and she manages to hold back the shudder at least.
Deer takes another big bite.
Oh god.
And there's the shudder. At which point she pulls her eyes away from the atrocity in its nature happening in front of her, looks over at Maricel, and anything for you?
A soda.
We have choke products here.
Joke. That's a
Pepper?
terrible brand name.
Ah, really? No Pepsi?
All right, and she jots it all down and she walks away.
Oh my. So, Transit, would you be willing to do that? I mean, like she said, I'm not looking to make anyone the bad guy. It was just an idea.
Well, if there needs to be one, I'm the better choice.
I don't know. Isn't it better to just let the people decide? Like, we're gonna pick up, we might be a pantheon, but we're gonna pick up our own specific worshippers, and they might, they might start arguing.
That's true as well.
And, pick their own opposition, which will draw more people into the conversation, etc., etc.
So we should make it a thing that we should try and prevent all-out conflict between our various sides. Like, we don't want to tear ourselves apart here. At least not yet.
I agree.
Like, if they bicker on the exact wording of the... Let's face it, I just wrote, like, 9 things on a napkin. I imagine people are... And half of them are metaphor anyway. I imagine there's going to be bickering about what I exactly meant.
Which is why I kept it very simple. And organic.
Everything's organic with you.
Well, that gives them plenty of gaps to discuss, though.
All right. Well, if necessity, if it turns out we need a bad guy, I will volunteer.
Okay.
Okie dokie.
I still like the idea of, the opener and closer of ways.
It does have a certain je ne sais quoi.
A dude in the booth behind you looks over his shoulder and mutters something about damn moon speak.
Here, let me be the bad guy right now. Who wants a portal to the ocean? I'm kidding, though. I'm kidding.
Don't cause a scene. Don't cause a scene. It's okay. It's too early for that right now.
I mean, if we really wanted to
brings...
see, I could do something to that lettuce on his burger.
But
I'm sure
but
the
it's things like
cook has
that,
already done
though.
that.
It's things like that, though. While we know that Transit wouldn't do that, he could be seen as, don't anger Transit
Yeah,
because he has so much power.
see, and that's just it. Trans is probably the easiest one to be the bad guy. I mean, he's already pissed off a cult, so I mean, why not make it official?
Just to throw a peanut gallery thing in there. If the cult finds out that he's there, they're going to be looking at his natural enemies, and then you'll know who's after him.
Yeah, I know. I still got to work on that cult.
Yep.
I've got the Word document open as we're gaming.
That's a good point, actually.
What we could always use the cult as the bad thing.
If they come after us, I suppose, yeah, that would work. A natural outsider element.
Well, is this cult? Is it very widespread?
No. They were really only based in like 2 locations.
But I think they are searching for him. That's why I asked if they could leave the ring.
I'm sorry, what? It cut out.
I was saying that's why they are looking for him actively.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I asked if they could leave the ring.
Yes, and I get that part. I'm just saying, like, because Cassie's question was that are they a big thing? Are they all over the place? And the answer is no. They're really only based out of 2 locations right now. But as time progresses, that can change either how big they are or where they're based from.
Yeah, because the biggest problem with having a cult or a specific group of people being after you is that for the most part, if they're not divine beings, they have a harder time actually spreading, traveling.
Right.
Harder, not impossible. They just the universe forces them to make certain accommodations so that as they get to a place, they are appropriate to whatever is there. As you drive further and further away from the ring, you start needing to have less advanced methods of transportation. You leave the place that's around the base here, and your car breaks down or something, or you just believe that it broke down, or who knows.
And there are no gas stations. 1 second.
Be right back.
There are no gas stations. But either way, I guess then, barring that, yeah, we're not going to start having an obvious bad cop for our in our midst. I guess we get started with how do we start a religion? How do things start here? I gotta admit, I've only been to this sort of city a handful of times.
Well, I guess the first thing is to make yourself known somehow. Maybe not known as what we are, but at least, she points at, or like gestures toward Digger and his human guise as he is, and just like gestures at all of them. As Jameson and Mari and Chloe, if we are at least known and gain some notoriety like this, first we can actually spread our ideals around. And then after that, perhaps start worrying more about the actual church part of it.
Getting an actual
Well-
structure for ourselves.
I already plan to go and find a large green space, like a park or something, and basically take up residence there. I can be a tree, or I can just be a person hanging out in the park, and I can watch and see what's going on first, and then maybe start interacting.
So, Mari, are you implying that maybe we should we let them know who we are in our human names, or should we just be open about it? Are we trying for secrecy here?
I'm just thinking that perhaps going around and saying that you are a child of Geb might not be taken too well. Yet.
True, and I suppose there's some truth to that.
Especially in this area, it might just blow you off. Granted, we all do have our divine forms, but humans have a way of explaining things away. I feel like getting at least some followers first might be helpful. You know, we could go around and call ourselves, you know, like, or say that we are part of this religion and talk about it and make it better known. I don't know, though. If anybody else has any better ideas.
It's like being your own prophet.
I guess.
That's what Digger was basically asking. We're trying to like hide that we are our demigod forms and be our own prophets, basically.
Well, I mean, like I said, I just want to watch for a little while first.
That makes sense.
Sure enough.
I was considering getting myself set up in the tech industry as a sort of entrepreneur / philanthropist. As I try not to quote Iron Man there.
Which is funny, because what is her divine form made of?
Much better than iron, that's for sure.
So it's his.
Chromium, titanium, alloy. I guess Digger just kind of points like out the little fallacy of like it could work. What happens if it ever comes out that we are who we are, though?
Well, I figure it would end up coming out eventually because we're gonna live longer than anyone else in this area.
True.
Also, to throw out a thing just as a reminder, Chloe and Mari have an easier time doing that as they are both able to change what their mortal form looks like, whereas Jameson and Toby are stuck with theirs.
Right.
But the thought I had wasn't necessarily that we needed to hide the fact that that is who we were, but more to not broadcast it immediately to try to gain followers.
Sure enough, he at this point is 3/4 of the way through the Argery Clogger.
Oh, by the way, also you guys' drinks were dropped off.
Hooray!
Okay.
Fruity milkshake.
Gross.
Delicious.
Anyway,
So yeah, we
that was just my first thought. But I am not exactly, always the one with the best ideas.
says the literal person whose purview is innovation.
I know, shush.
Oh.
Just because I can think of new technology doesn't mean that my ideas are always great for other things.
Okay.
True enough. So that's just kind of how we get our say.
I was considering seeing what it would take to start up a school.
Yeah.
And part of the school, offering this doctrine as classes.
I see.
Or it being, well, it wasn't necessarily young. I was actually considering more college. But to have that, to have my dogma be the mottos of the school. Every school has mottos. Things to live by.
Digger thinks about this for a moment. Some of them? I mean, this area, yeah. Other areas, not so much.
I meant this area.
It can work. So, but just to get back to it, square one, we all wander forth and proselytize ourselves, basically. And then later, once we have people, we find a building. And then schools and, whatever comes out for... I'm sure we'll figure out our own things as time goes on. Like your school. Kind of ahead of us on that one.
She shrugs.
I got keys.
Hey, don't sell yourself short, Josh. You don't have caves, you have tunnels. You have 2 entrances.
Secret tunnel.
What is a skyscraper but a tunnel on its side?
I think that's a little bit of a stretch there, friend.
So is the skyscraper.
It's tunneling through the air.
Yeah, it's tunneling to the sky. So, I guess that's square one. Chloe's heading to a park. I think Drifter's gonna do what he does in Drift.
Who's Drifter? What?
He lifts the burger and waves it before taking another big bite.
God, that thing is disgusting, Digger.
But it is so decadent. I mean, short lives mean that you don't waste them messing around with food. I will accept my worship in hamburgers. Thank you. What about, and Mari's gonna go and start working her way into the tech industry. Transit. Where do you think you're gonna try and find people?
Thieves Guild.
Do they have things skilled in a place like this?
No.
I have no idea.
I don't think there'd be a need for one. Like, normally you get Thieves Guild to organize...
Oh, I know. Mafia. That's Thieves Guild.
I'll put it this way. Phoenix... I mean, that's close. I was going to say, Phoenix Jones doesn't exist yet. I don't think he was a thing till, like, the 2000s.
Yeah.
Wait, who?
Phoenix Jones. Well, okay. You obviously don't know about Phoenix Jones. I will send you a link. Worry about it later. It just know that it's a funny reference.
Okay.
Okay. There you go.
I'm already going, what the hell?
So, yeah, but Digger did ask Transit kind of a question that you might want to think about.
I don't know how I'm gonna get followers. I mean, I couldn't bring myself to scalp any of the Veltals. What I don't know what I would do to even begin.
Well, Digger has a slight idea and looks back over to
Step
Marty.
1, we're not scalping.
What?
I said the good thing is we're not scalping these ones.
No. And that is a good thing. I don't know. Yeah.
Jameson.
Does your blessing work on us?
What?
Matt, does my blessing work on other...
Yeah.
Okay.
Remember when I said it works on anyone but yourself?
Alright, I missed that part.
Mm-hmm.
It might help him come up with an idea.
I touched what's his name?
Toby.
Toby.
Oh Lord.
I mean, wrong button. On. Okay. So, Cassie, I'm assuming you want me to roll for you. Oh, wait, except this is your divine skill, so this is... Yeah. So functionally, here's how this is going to work.
Oh, sorry.
Cassie is going to go ahead, and even though it is one of the +8 legendary divine skills and all that crap, she's going to go ahead and roll.
Okay. No
for
modifiers?
every... No additional modifiers, but before you do, what we're going to do is she's going to be functionally rolling. It's not really a thing that they have mechanically in the book system, but Cassie's functionally going to be rolling this, and 1/3 of whatever she rolls, Jimmy, can be added onto one. Instead of it being an advantage, because an advantage would just create like multiple uses of one of a thing where it's like a +2 or whatever. 1/3 of whatever she rolls here, you will be able to add onto one die roll to try for as he tries to collect followers over however long time period that we're going to make this roll.
Okay.
So go ahead and roll it, Cassie. You get a +3 on whatever it is that you're going to end up doing to get additional followers.
Hey guys.
So
we
we
right back.
okay.
Okay.
So as far as so that's the mechanics of it. But Cassie, I want you to describe what it feels like to transit when he gets hit with your blessing of ingenuity.
You know that feeling like you feel like a light bulb just went off above your head?
Yes.
It's like that times a million. You know exactly, or you think you know exactly what to do, and you want to do it right away.
So in other words, he just came hard inside of his head.
Pretty much.
Oh my.
I'm not gonna be able to tell you what to do,
No, I know.
but you know.
Yeah. And since it's something that I have to act on immediately, because it is such a brilliant idea.
It's more of like a part of the ingenuity is a compulsion to act on the ingenuity. And so, the idea, whatever idea it is that we decide that he had, won't leave him once she revokes the blessing or whatever. But you pretty much you haven't had the idea yet until you choose to make the roll.
Okay.
So it's not like she touched him and he just immediately gets up. It's just that. So out of the skills that you have, oh, actually, you know what? Now that I'm looking at it, like if you want to go be the bad guy, you can do burglary or stealth and whatnot. If you want to stay the good guy, you can roll rapport.
I was thinking of rapport, but I don't know what to say first. I mean, because I don't know what I would say.
Well, we're not going out and preaching right away. We were going out to just kind of gain
Put your names out
followers
there.
and put our names out there. You know.
Oh.
It's kind of like.
I think I know what I want to do.
Okay.
You want to run a school. I think in order to help it, because slavery is not a big thing now, is it?
No. Not in this area.
Not in this area.
Slavery, no. But
what about orphans?
Yes, and I was gonna say the closest thing that you would have to outright slavery would be really, really gross and abusable employment laws. You have very specific ethnicities and all that are, harvesting everyone's apples kind of a thing.
I could either become a city politician, or I can open an orphanage.
Politicians are skeezy.
Speaking as the spark of ingenuity blessing here, those are not mutually exclusive.
Right.
On either side of the moral spectrum that you want to play it at.
Or I can do both. I think I'll do both.
All right. So, are you doing this? Are you making your orphanage out of rolling burglary? Or are you
Steal the
rolling
kids.
rapport?
Steal the kids.
Rapport. I'm gonna roll rapport.
Okay, so when you roll it with a +3. You're well, okay, but when we get to the rolling part, we're gonna roll that with a +3. But we'll get to that. So she touches him, right? And then it's like a half a second later, you're like, I could be a politician or open an orphanage. Back in character. Go for it.
I think
We're gonna say
both.
Digger's still in the restroom.
Why does he even bother?
What, go to the bathroom?
I don't understand it.
I think that burger finally got to him.
Well, serves him right.
I'm
That was
assuming
gross.
that since we don't have to eat, we don't have to poop. Just saying.
You don't have to. You can choose to. I mean, you're even less required to than anybody else, Miss I'm a fucking robot.
Hi.
I figured that's the angle you were taking the joke with.
Yep.
But anyway, so Toby, have your moment.
I'm gonna open an orphanage and become a politician in the city.
So, what you're saying is we need to work on a platform for you to stand on. A political
Equal
platform.
wages for work.
Ooh, that one's good.
Everyone needs to be equal. As far as wages.
I mean, sorry, my mind went to 90s America.
Communism is great. Well, Toby's been lynched.
That is exactly where my mind went.
No, really just better labor laws. Less sweatshops and more fast food. As far as wages go.
Wow. That's not much better.
Shush.
So raise the minimum wage is what you're saying.
Yeah, basically.
Better working conditions.
Better working conditions.
Where are you on families?
Out of character, I was about to quote one of the Ferengi rules of acquisition. Exploitation begins at home.
Oh,
And what is good in life?
But Toby's all for. I mean, but what do you mean? My view on families?
Politicians, where the politician views family tends to be important in this area, I think. Like, where is a woman's place in the home? Are they supposed to be working or are they supposed to be at home? Where, is a family with two dads the same or equal to a family with a mom and a dad. Things like that. Traditional family values, less traditional family values. Those are important.
What the fuck is a traditional family?
I was waiting for that. Thank you, Emily.
Definitely what you have.
Digger.
I mean, definitely not what you have.
I was gonna say, Chloe, roll to detect sarcasm. Your target number is at least a -4.
Uh, I don't. This concept.
Humans in this era will piss you off.
Humans in this era are apparently stupid.
Digger, having finished his burger and wiped his hands of grease, reaches out and gently pats Chloe
Well,
on the
that's
shoulder.
gonna have to go.
Well, how's this? I will think on my political platform, but I will start the orphanage first.
Definitely get you some notoriety so that you can become a politician.
Notoriety? Isn't that usually bad?
No.
The state of being famous or well known for some bad quality or deed.
Whatever. It'll get you some.
There you go. The guy like, I will starve the orphanage first.
It will get you some.
Esteem?
Yeah, that one. Sure.
Veneration.
It's more of a.
Infamy. Wait, no.
Whatever.
But yes, we will go with the orphanage first, because I don't know. I'd have to figure out a political platform.
Okay. And so we've established that Chloe is going to go and lay low. Right? Maybe.
Chloe should be the local hippie in the park.
What?
So Chloe's part of the plan was that she was going to go like lay low or something, right?
Oh, she's gonna go. Yeah,
Here to
she's
the
gonna
ground
go
kind of
live
thing.
in the park. She's gonna be a tree or be a homeless bum or both, depending on what seems most accurate, and because she can see and
She's
hear
gonna
and
be a homeless
whatnot through
tree.
other trees. No,
We said both. I just needed to check.
not at the same time. Obviously.
No, I like this idea. She's a homeless tree.
I'm a
She's in a
homeless
pot.
Oh shit!
At the park.
I mean,
she's not been planted.
to be fair, out on the East Coast, there's a tree that owns the plot of land that it's planted in.
All right then.
Really?
Oh yeah, that's the thing.
Someone
There's
like
also a
will
town
it to
that
the
has
tree?
a cat as a mayor.
Well, I knew about that one actually. Yeah, whatever. But yeah, like if I feel the need to interact, I can just go be a homeless bum there. If not, I'm just gonna be a tree and watch and listen through other trees and stuff.
Okay.
And
Is
I
there
will
anything
try
in particular?
very, very
Is there-
hard. Yeah,
Go ahead.
I was gonna say I'm gonna try very, very hard not to kill anyone for pissing me off while I'm watching them.
So, my question is there anything in particular she's listening for? Because if she's hanging out as a tree, she's not going to be... Like, is she going to be doing anything during this time to try and get her name out there?
Oh, no, not right now, not right away. She's listening for like. First, it's basically we're gonna find the easy cells. Like anyone out there who's like
Already a hippie?
basically, yeah. Just
Okay.
look for the people who are already into nature, and we'll go for the easy cells first, and then once you build the brand some, then we can worry about other people and things
Like I
and
said,
whatnot.
should totally start adopting islands.
Aliens?
Like the areas between
Oh, right.
intersections and stuff, or between the highway.
This area
They're
protected by whatever the group is called, and then there are like a line of skulls on pipes from litterers they got. Sorry.
That's a little much.
No littering. Smite.
Anyway. I'm going to be again setting myself up in the tech industry, trying to get a reputation as entrepreneur slash philanthropist. Words. Philanthropist, and I'm not starting the school quite yet, but it's definitely in the plans. I'm mostly going to be helping people start businesses and not do pyramid schemes.
Hey, would you care to help start an orphanage besides giving me the idea?
Sure. Sorry, my mouth's full.
At some point or another, Maricel got macaroni and cheese.
Aha. Mac and cheese is good.
It's like real good kind of mac and cheese with super melted cheese all over the top of it too.
Ooh. That's a different kind of artery clogger.
My burger had mac and cheese in it.
But it's good.
My burger had mac and cheese in it.
Oh, God.
Anyway, Digger grumbled. And I also just barely realized I was still muted. Okay. So Digger looks up, having finished his burger, and wiped off his hands, soiling several napkins in the process.
How much of the conversation did you miss, by the way?
I came back in on Transit's going to set himself up as a dang it,
So
I almost said
you've been back for a while.
yeah, basically.
Okay.
I haven't said much.
Anyway, as you're saying.
We missed Digger attempt. The biggest thing I think I did is when Chloe was having the issue with traditional families, Digger was like, "Pat, it's okay. They'll learn in time, I'm sure." Anyway, but no. So orphanage, schools. Where are we gonna sleep while we're here? Well, you don't have to sleep. But we don't have to sleep, but the city moves in rhythms. It'll look weird if we just kind of always around.
Oh, I mean, I get having a home and whatnot. That's totally a thing. I have some money,
I know some
some
people.
resources.
And I know some people. It won't be glamorous, but I can get us something.
I have 2 dots in resources.
I don't need a place. Like I said, I'm just gonna go live in the park.
You have to bathe sometime.
I'm about to say, Toby has no resources.
Toby doesn't have to live here.
That's true. I just need a doorway to come through whenever I need to. Actually, I don't even need that. I can just do portals.
That's what water is for. It falls from the sky, it runs in rivers, it collects in ponds.
No, listen. I understand that we don't have to eat or sleep, but we do still sweat, and we do still get body odor.
Some of us.
You sweat.
You choose to sweat though.
I was gonna say, you sweat. I don't.
Remember, you don't even you guys aren't even subject to exhaustion, like from physical exertion.
So much like cats, we just sleep out of boredom.
Or to pass
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Sleeping is a great way to pass time. I see a hole in my logic, as I am apparently the only animal at the table. This is awkward.
Which is funny because he also commented on sweating and he's a reptile.
So Myriad points to Toby. It's like glowy portal thing. Points to Chloe. Tree points to herself. Robot.
The waitress is standing at the edge of the table looking really confused with your check.
Hey.
Can I pull out
You
a
were
D&D
right.
book from my satchel of many things?
Or you pull out a what?
It's like, if I pulled out a D&D book, everything would be like, oh, okay, that explains it.
Oh, they're just nerds. Don't worry about it.
Oh my god, Cassie, I was about to say, we're just a gaming group.
Digger begins to whittle d20s.
With what? The table? Anyway.
Yeah, so she sets the check down and she walks away.
I almost want to say, admit it, this is hardly the weirdest table you've ever had.
No, I think we might be the weirdest table she ever had.
I don't know. Only one of us ate something. Or 2 of us, I guess.
A milkshake. That's like That's like food.
Transit only had coffee.
I'm saying that it's not that weird because, like, that's all.
I was about to say, the Digger couldn't be the only person who's ordered that Gutbuster.
I don't know, maybe.
I mean, or else, why have it on the menu in the first place?
I don't know.
Now, my question is, was the Gutbuster a challenge?
Yeah, it
Nope.
might have been just been a
Okay.
spectacle food. Some restaurants just have a thing like that, just to have a spectacle.
They never expected anybody to actually buy it. They put it on there so they could say it, and they never like they make it maybe once every couple months, and nobody ever finishes it. And they make a presentation out of it, and they're like, "Okay, we're moving on." That's about it.
Yep. It's just on the menu. The burger that's so greasy, no one has ever finished it.
Yes.
Until now. That's how Digger gets followers. He becomes a competitive eater.
How does he keep off the weight? It's like he
I
doesn't-
support the local subway system. Dig tunnels.
How does he keep off the weight? I'm a geologist.
It's like he hasn't eaten in years.
It's like he's unhinging his jaw.
So is Digger gonna become a geologist?
Maybe. So yeah. I guess me and Mari need to throw some rolls and see if our combined resources and contacts can get us some form of small apartment or something to start with.
Okay. Can someone roll for me? I'm not at my computer.
Alrighty. So Cassie's rolling the resources to try and acquire a place.
Yeah, let me roll contacts first.
What would be our target number?
Yeah, that's what I was waiting for.
So you're just looking to find the place, and then she's gonna roll resources to
Obtain it?
swing for it.
Yeah,
Is that what the plan is?
I guess that's the plan. Yeah.
How nice of a place are you guys looking for?
Digger's only got like friends in low places, so it's probably not going to be any. Like he said, it's probably not going to be anything
Well-
extravagant.
Well, because contacts is also the ability to find people as contacts,
Right.
not just who you already have. Otherwise, that's a pretty wasted skill when in like 80 years they die.
It's true. But yeah, Digger's not looking for anything extravagant. They just need a place to maybe like store stuff, meet up, occasionally flop over and pretend like they're asleep.
Okay.
But something not like run down, just an average.
So you're looking for pretty much the average sitcom flat.
Basically.
Okay. Difficulty 2.
Submit.
Cool, you got a 3. Yes, you find a few different options. And Cassie, we're going to go ahead and roll your resources. We're going to say the difficulty is also a... Now, actually, so here's the thing, Cassie. Do you want to manipulate things where you are the owner of it? Or do you want to just rent?
What would be the difference at this point?
One of them's going to become a recurring role for one. I would say that trying to get it to a point where you now own this little apartment flat thing or whatever, condo is the word I was thinking of, would be, let's say, difficulty 4.
Mm-hmm.
Just renting it's going to be like difficulty 2.
Okay. So if I try to own it and I fail at the difficulty 4, but I do pass a 2, can we rent? Or we just fail?
I'd say that you managed that one of the ones that was on Josh that was on Digger's list. You end up getting a rental deal on.
Okay. So then let's go ahead and try to own. That would be nicer.
You only got the 2, so there you go.
So we are renting.
You are renting a place.
Ote. So I rolled a 0.
Yes. Well, you rolled 0 positive, 0 negative. Anyway, so here's how we're going to do this. But I want each of you is going to pick one die to roll for whatever it is that you for the first stage of each of your guys' plans for the first year. So,
Okay.
Transit, you're going to roll your rapport.
With my
Chloe, with your +3, but don't do it just yet.
Okay.
Chloe, I want you to roll a notice check for your social voyeuring.
Mhm,
Since you're doing it fairly passively, that's why it's not going to be an investigate.
Right.
Josh, you said that. I'm sorry. So, what was Digger going to be doing to get himself started?
Digger's whole thing is that he wasn't very specific with the group, but he's going to basically go out into the city and find the most disadvantaged people. Basically lingering around like the rough and seedier parts of the city. Find
Cities. There's
cities,
3.
Cities, yes, there's 3. And
Tri-Cities.
Dang it, the Tri-City area.
No.
Yeah, find the seedier, the rougher neighborhoods and areas, the red light district, things like that. Find people who are the most disadvantaged and basically help them out. And then maybe, drop some of his wisdom on them if they're receptive to it. But basically it comes down to, beating up muggers and pimps.
He's a masked vigilante. Without a mask.
Without a mask, yes.
Okay. So yours is probably going to be. But you're
Fight.
largely relying on the non-violent parts of it, right?
Largely, he's trying to find people who are down and out on their luck and basically be like, here, I know a way you can turn your life around. Here's some things you can try to do. Oh, you're having trouble with this person who won't let you leave? Okay, let me go take care of that.
Okay. So I will leave it to you then on if you want to roll it as contacts or empathy when we get to yours.
Okay.
So noodle that one out. And then Cassie, you were wanting to get your school established first? No.
No. Establishing myself in the tech industry
Okay.
as, yeah.
So for yours, I'm assuming we're probably just going to want to run. Pretty much, you're going to be rolling your crafts skill, right?
Oh, okay.
I'm asking. Like, are you
Yeah.
wanting to do it through just look? I can make these cool things. I know my shit.
Yeah, that makes sense. Like, that is really one of the best ways to get known in that industry is to make something and then sell it.
Okay. So we're gonna start back at the top of the list here, and we're gonna look at Toby because I think Toby's is gonna be the one that over the course of the first year has probably the most ability to affect how each of you is operating.
So you want me to go ahead and roll?
Go ahead and make your roll. And are you trying to get yourself elected into a position, or are you trying to simply be
I'm trying to set up the orphanage
a
first.
public voice? Oh, right. Okay. So, crap, I need to bring up your character sheet again. So setting up that first, definitely going to be a rapport roll, I would think.
Okay.
Yeah, that makes sense.
What's my difficulty?
I'm going to say that you're establishing a self-sufficient orphanage within a year. We're going to go with a difficulty 4 because this is going to that is a significant hurdle. Not only do you establish,
Did he add the plus
Nope.
3?
Yes,
did you?
I did.
Yes. So Transit got an 8. So I'm going to say that you establish the orphanage, and I will let you pick an event, and you get, because you succeeded well, right? You get to describe how the orphanage got set up and whatnot, and you are going to get one advantage that you pretty much, you can dictate what the advantage is that you will be able to use later in the session.
Okay.
Because you just succeeded with style, as I believe the term that the game uses.
Ooh. Ideas.
Well, I'm open
Yes,
to
Nancy.
ideas.
Oh my.
Well, there's the fact that to open up the orphanage, you would have had to do a lot of schmoozing and whatnot with the local politicians
Yes.
of the area, and gotten donations and publicity from them. So that's where I was thinking your advantage could come in. You could now have an in politics.
That's true. I'm just trying to think of what type of building would be perfect for an orphanage. Because I'm thinking just like a gutted out and then remodeled, like a warehouse.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe an old school dormitory.
All right, let me think about it. Come back to me.
Okay. So are you good with the having a good in with the local politicians for the advantage?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So we're gonna go ahead and go to the next one. Chloe, I would like for you to make that notice roll, please. Emily.
Sorry, what?
Go ahead and toss that notice roll.
Okie dokie. Ouch. That was fucking loud.
Oh, sorry, I didn't give you a target number first. I was only going to make it a 2 because, you have functionally your tree network to go with the whole thing. The weeds whisper. So you hear about partway through the year, you hear about this wonderful thing that so many people that frequent the park are talking about on a regular basis. That's it's not happening this year, but next year. I mean, you kind of have an idea of what it is, but they keep calling it Hemp Fest.
Oh no.
Okay.
Our war goddess is about to become significantly chilled.
So, yeah, what we're gonna say is this success, specifically creating an advantage for you now have. You now know of an already existing gathering spot of a lot of hippies.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Okay.
We're gonna call the advantage. I found the hippies. Cassie, you're muted.
S'moritos? S'moritos, eh? Are those a
Whoa.
It's like, guys, I found the hippie.
No,
Since we're changing the brand names of everything, might as well go with S'moritos.
So, no, I have a question about that. Are they chocolate and marshmallow flavored
I
corn
was just gonna say.
This sounds almost as disgusting as the burger the digger just ate.
There's nothing wrong with fried egg, mac and cheese, double patties, bacon.
Oh my god! Chili.
Chili.
Then-
Jalapenos.
Donuts
wait,
for buns.
And so every time they make it, they have to go across the street so they can get jalapeno baby back ribs.
Yeah.
Because it's obviously not Chili's.
It's obvious.
No, obviously not.
No, it's jalapenos.
Anyway, so
I'm keeping notes, Matt. These are all gonna have to come back sooner or later.
yep.
All these brands.
Did you see what I said Toby has?
That's bad.
Small Rita.
Anyway, Cassie, you need to come roll for Mari.
I don't get it. Am I missing something?
The thing in Roll20 chat, after you're like chilled natured demigod and eater of Smoritos, Cassie's thinking of, it's okay, Toby has the small Ritos. Because he's small, I guess. I don't fucking know. I don't know what she was trying to infer.
Oh, okay.
So, Cassie, your crafts roll here that you're going to toss. But, your target number, we're going to give you a 3, because I'm assuming you're wanting to do something, you're wanting to come out onto the R&D playing field with something big and be like, hey, this is the thing, take me fucking seriously, and everybody would be like, holy shit.
I could bring up Tim. No, just joking. All right. Okay, so I don't think I would be using Divine Invention because it doesn't need to be a single short action. Or should I?
That was the thing that's weird about Divine Invention, because you're better at winging it than you are building it in the long term.
It was more.
I would say that you can add them together as long as, because yeah.
Okay.
Well, I gave you target number 3, so yeah, friggin' go for it. You also succeed with style.
All right. So, Jimmy,
Yeah.
whack. This is me like, no, stop. Anyway. What did I invent in the 90s? I do something like more unique. I don't know. I invented something neat.
You created the
Maybe-
iPhone.
No, see, I was thinking. Well, yeah, I was. That's where I was going. It was actually going to be a medical breakthrough. Going back to Myriad's roots, where she invented, or she became Myriad in the
Don't tie it back to your site. Just explain what this.
I'm not. Never mind. Okay, sorry. Anyway, so it's something medical, basically, like a chip that can help with paralysis, with helping people learn how to walk again. It would go like at the base of the brain into the spinal cord. So yeah, that's where I'm going.
Okay.
Trying to treat people's medical issues.
Okay. And so, what do you want your advantage to be for later?
Can I have the advantage be resources? Like,
Yes.
yeah, I feel like that is a good way to go.
It's called oodles of money. Alternatively,
Well.
my patent brings all the paralyzed people to the yard.
It's funny because they're paralyzed, but they're coming to the yard.
What?
Hi, I'm Digger.
So, we have an orphanage, we have hippies.
Yep. Which means we are down to the Jameson Jeffries.
The
Boom,
grassroots proselytizing to hookers methodology.
Yeah, if it worked for the wine god.
I am hedonism bot.
Sweet. Yes.
Rolling the empathy.
Oh.
Kind of amusing to think of a son of Geb.
So I haven't looked at your number yet, but what I was going to say is I'm thinking that I'm going to make your target number a 3 because what you're getting the information out there isn't difficult. It's getting people to believe in and act on what you're telling them.
Right. Which is probably going to take repetitious meeting of the same people each time and kind of like grooming people.
Mm-hmm. And reminding them perpetually.
Mm-hmm. Which is why I rolled empathy rather than contacts.
Yep.
I got a 3.
So what did you,
exactly? So I'm going to be using this extra fate point
Yay.
I have, and I am ridiculously likable for his strength, for his snake. No matter what, these people just like Digger. He is their people.
You made the number. I said it was a 3.
Yeah, but that means that we stalemate. You have to beat it.
Yes, but by you being the one doing the thing, you have I thought you had to make the number, not beat it.
It's a target number.
Yeah.
You have to make at least this much. This much or more.
Yeah. So you're good, Josh.
Okay.
It's not Munchkin.
No, I thought it was that you had to beat the number because stalemates don't do anything and then give a. Oh well.
Here, hold on.
DM has said. DM has said.
It tie if you roll the same as your opposition. Tie. This means you get what you want, but at a minor cost, or you get a lesser version of what you wanted. Okay. So yeah, that's fair.
Well, that's a tie I thought a tie would be like your opponent rolling the same as you, like when you're rolling to defend,
That's also true.
versus a target number. Because target numbers are different. Like even in D&D and stuff, they're different. I don't know.
Whatever. Just do the thing.
Do the thing. Point in the middle. There we go.
Okay. So, the only person to not get an advantage this time. 'Tis unfortunate.
It's okay. My method also takes longer.
Mm-hmm. So that is at the end of the first year. So we've got a guy who is now not like active politically, but is fairly for people that have been working in any related fields. They're like, hey, this guy Toby showed up, and he's like doing good things with like broke down friggin' sweatshops and shit, and putting kids into it. Wait a second, that sounds a little awkward. And then some people are like, no. He's like going the other side of it. He turned it into an orphanage. And they're like, that's he's still putting orphans into a sweatshop. Like, he's not making them work. He's just taking care of them, getting them adopted. It's a thing. It's an orphanage. I'm like, oh, okay. Because people are stupid. And so,
I was about to say
you know,
if you didn't.
yeah. But so there's that whole thing of the Monroe Children's Orphanage is doing pretty good. And then again, Chloe found out about Hempfest and probably like I imagine stormed into the condo one day, like just threw the door open, be like, guys, found the hippies. Also, this is gonna be a great week. Next year, I'm excited. And then Mari, so you have Mari, or Miss Cell, who has been very notable in the medical field, and I would say probably within the first couple of months of the patent being put out there and whatnot. Not only is the money rolling in at the moment, but like every major hospital in the area has been reading about what it is that it does, and there's been tech interviews and stuff happening on TV where they're like, okay, how did you get this chip to reactivate nerves? And it's like, and she goes through her whole thing, and nobody really knows what she's saying until some like the human testing person or whatever comes walking in on the stage, and then they show a picture of them like neck down paraplegic 3 weeks before. And then Jameson has like a whole lot of homeless people and disenfranchised hookers that are like that they like when he comes by and brings sandwiches so that they can have their talks.
I love how this really speaks, like, the differences between us as demigods is really apparent here.
Yep. Digger, the lame man's deity.
Wait. The what man's deity?
The layman's deity.
Okay. But then there's Myriad.
I did say lame, and I was waiting for somebody to be like, no, that's what Mari did.
I was like, but Myriad did the lame man's deity.
Did the lame man's deity, did you? Anyway.
Yes, she did herself.
Probably.
I'm still not sure what her sexuality is.
She's a robot. It's a USB port. Anyway, so the question is, do you guys want to continue to work at the relatively faster pace of like 1 year per roll, or do you want to make things a little bit easier and work slower over time? Because you have time, but it's kind of one of those also because you're trying to do things as mortals. Well, at least 3 out of the 4 of you are at the moment. You have the option to have your stuff take a little longer, but you don't want to take too long, or you're going to end up having to start manipulating entire other generations.
Well, I'd say try and get things going quickly, just because of the fact that, like with Jameson trying to become a politician, to actually be able to
Jameson's not trying to do shit.
not Jameson. You know what?
Toby.
Toby. Sorry, Jameson's the first thing that comes to mind, and it sounds like Jimmy. Because Jimmy is short for James. I never understood that.
That's okay, neither did I.
Because Jimmy is actually longer. But, you know. Whatever. Words.
Anyway, so Cassie's vote is to do things faster paced. Anybody, because Josh, you were planning on playing the long game with yours anyway. So is that what you want to stick with?
Yeah, I think Jameson will keep playing the long game.
Okay.
Well, as far as Transit's concerned, he is going to try, and well, not hardcore recruit the orphans. He's going to try and pass his beliefs or his dogma onto them as a way of life. Like, you know, keep paying it forward, protect those that you know, just kind of keep it going from there.
Okay. And I guess we need to see how Hempfest goes before we can really figure out what Chloe's going to do. Okay, so let's start with that one. So Emily, Hempfest is happening. Chloe arrives to this. What is she gonna do here? What's the plan?
Well, I mean, first we're gonna do a little more reconnaissance, see what happens here, what actually happens here, what kind of groups these people break down into.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're not all necessarily gonna be, you know, like the cool people.
Sounds like a dog toy. But actually, this...
What the heck?
What?
man?
Are you watching?
I accidentally clicked on the thing. It's Squealing Frog. I'm sorry.
Did you forget that your sound goes through us?
No, I didn't mean to click there. Carry on. So seeing the kinds of groups that these people break down into.
You gonna find the cool kids club?
Yeah, I'm gonna find the coolest kids club, and
Define cool kids.
Is it spelled with a K? I mean,
of course it's spelled with a K. This is the fucking 90s.
What about club?
No. That's just going too far.
Thank you.
Oh my. But no, I mean, you know, the ones that are like, you know, actually seem to be actually interested in environmentalism, rather than the ones that are hanging out and just smoking pot
Mm-hmm.
with the rest of them, you know. Like I said, I want to
Okay.
start with the easy targets.
They're
Yeah.
easy, alright?
Wink, wink.
This festival is intense.
And depending on how well you roll, it could be fucking intense.
Oh my.
Okay, so I guess this one would be an investigate because you're trying to look into stuff like probably this sounds about right.
Okay.
I'm gonna give you a target of target of 2 because it's kind of like vegans. Like you just ask people like, "Hey, what are your thoughts on the environment?" and they will let you know at length whether you wanted that much information or not.
No, sorry.
How did you fuck that up?
Because my investigate is an average skill.
I know. Would you like to? Do you think you have any aspects to invoke?
I don't think so. Not something that goes into like I'd almost say maybe the beauty of nature is hard to describe just because, but that would probably actually more get me like in real life. That would probably more get me like. So, what are your thoughts on environmentalism? And people be like, whatever you think. Uh huh. Wink, wink. No, I'm sorry. I don't know.
So
I
then,
got nothing.
do you want to choose to succeed anyway, but take a point of mental stress?
Hmm. I mean, it's not like we're on a time limit, so it doesn't necessarily matter.
Oh, and also your stress kind of recuperates at the end of the session anyway.
That is also true. Yeah, sure, why not? I'm okay with that.
Okay, marking it. Boom, 1 point mental. There we go.
All right.
So you do find the Cool Kids Club, not spelled with a K on every word, and you found the KCK. Cassie in the background. What? Anyway, so you find the KCKs, and Cassie, you have to unmute to express that opinion.
Wait, the what?
The KCK, the Cool Kids Club.
Oh, okay.
Apparently he's spelling kids with a C.
Because it's the 90s. Swapping letters with things that are vaguely similar is like the thing to do.
Don't forget that kids is spelled with a Y.
Oh yeah.
Oh
With a
shit!
Z.
The Cool Sides Club. Anyway. Yeah, there you go. That got dark quickly. It's the Cool Sids Club. Oh, that got dark. Thank you, Cassie. Anyway.
I
So
don't get
yeah,
it.
Sids I'll send it to you in a private message.
Okay.
I was about to say, I can do it.
Go for it. Send it over Discord. Anyway, so you find these people, and they're like, "Oh, you like trees too? Here, do you want to try some of my stuff?" And I need you to roll fortitude. Or fuck, what is it called in the system? I forget.
Physique.
Physique, that one. Fucking synonyms. Your target number is a 3.
Fortitude.
Okay, so you make it, but like you could like if you were not divinely super powered, because you did you add all your stuff together?
What stuff?
Because okay, so you rolled your oh right, you don't have physique as a basic skill, just your divine one.
Right.
Disregard. Yeah. So if it wasn't for the fact that you're a divine creature and everything, you know for a fact that a few puffs of this stuff and you would be fucking catatonic. And the fact that these guys are able to stand upright is actually very impressive.
Mm-hmm.
So over the course of the week, you get in pretty good with these guys. You know, it's Hemp Fest. You probably get laid. And they're like, yeah, we got some people that we hang out with outside of here. And, yeah, da, 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 da. And so in short, you know of a full hippie compound that's within the area. It's not inside any of the cities, obviously, but they have a couple hundred people there, and they're like, you'd fit in fine, bro.
Excellent.
This is the 90s. They said dude, not bro.
No, that's true. Yeah. And actually, since it's the 90s, they probably said dudette because we had to gender dudes for some reason.
Yeah, that was so
Right.
bad.
I don't know. I'm from the West Coast. It was always dude.
Oh yeah.
I'm from California. There was dudettes too. That was stupid.
Dudette was kind of a beach thing.
Yeah.
Well, dudette hit the Midwest. So.
What, last year?
In the 90s. I have no idea what hit the Midwest last year. I stopped paying attention. You know,
Probably a
when I learned
tornado.
better.
No, it was a hurricane.
I wish.
Just one tornado across the entire Midwest. Have fun. Anyway, so there you go. So that's what happens at Hempfest. I missed So what is she going to do with this information after Hempfest?
Oh, well, then she's gonna go in there and she's gonna start putting her ideas out there. And if it looks like they're taking hold, then eventually she's gonna go all tree goddess. Just be like,
in front of a bunch of stoned hippies.
yep.
She's just gonna go full Galadriel. Like she's just gonna go from let's plant this apple tree because that'd be helpful to boom, divine form as blue bindweed. It instantly grows up to its full height. You will all love me in despair.
Yeah, pretty much. She's not subtle.
Apparently. So this is gonna involve another roll.
Oh shit. Well, apparently this
Scare the
90s
hippies away.
apparently this 90s place has just been attacked by a kaiju.
I mean,
not that tall.
I did say we were gonna start with just being a person and talking, and then at the point where she can no longer contain her ability to just be.
I like the fact though that any sense of subtlety is just thrown out the window because it's I could chill out here in this hippie compound for a few years and they'll be like, man, the plants have been growing really well since you came out here. Oh, we just really appreciate you, bro, and we just want you to feel the love, man. And she's like, no, it's been 2 months or whatever. This is the fucking divine apple tree. You will all love it and hate humans. Just the impatience. You're a terrible immortal creature.
I did not specify that it wasn't going to take a while for it to get there. Honest, I mean, just I don't know.
So how long do you think it's gonna go before you do go Galadriel on them? By the way, I am a freaking divine creature, and you should worship me as an aspect of nature.
Honestly, I don't really have a concept of that.
Her favorites.
I don't. I don't know. Like that's kind of hard to put a timetable on.
I mean, I can give you a secondary criteria to try and, ponder about it and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
How long before she wants to put a podling inside of somebody? Because you might want to come out as a deity before then.
Oh my god. Oh man. Well, that's not gonna happen. So that's easy. There.
It's not going to happen because it can happen. But I did specify her put a podling in somebody else. She can. You guys are divine, whatever the fucks. I mean, you were born from a dryad getting knocked up by a goddess.
I'm not saying it
so
can't happen. I'm just saying it won't happen.
Okay.
I don't know. Like I said, it's just.
Do you think it would be within a year?
Honestly, no, probably not. Like
Okay.
this isn't like, she's gotta, bring people around to the ideas she's trying to espouse. Like, yes, they are only a few, and they are very, simple, but some of them are a little extreme. Like she's trying to get like a bunch of hippies to, it's like expect no mercy and give none. Nature,
Mm-hmm.
She is our war goddess.
She is trying to she's trying to convince them of the duality of nature, not just embracing peace.
Right.
Okay.
Like, yes, there's balance, but there's balance means duality, and yeah, just kind of
Sometimes you just gotta cut a motherfucker and then eat him.
That's right.
Don't do that; they're terrible for you. No nutritional value.
Just you know what? It's if you want to chop them up and use them as fertilizer, that's fine. You just as long as you use the body for something.
Okay. But you, as you said, not within the first year.
Yeah, I mean it's not going to go that fast, I don't think.
Okay. So we'll go ahead and fast forward then. So Toby.
Yeah.
So you have your orphanage. It's been a year or so. Politicians are kind of not clamoring, but you're periodically getting a request from someone like, hey, can I, use this very successful orphanage of yours to house a political speech for the upcoming election year, and largely been just been putting yourself out there as a public face, if not a politician, while you operate the orphanage. So what are you doing in year 2?
Yeah, I almost want to say that I want to expand it to a homeless shelter as well, but that's kind of digger stuff.
Hey, that means I have a place to send them when I get them out of their situations.
It could also be an expansion that you could have Digger run.
That's true.
Also, it consolidates all the people that Digger's trying to convert towards both of your causes.
I think year 2 will be setting up a homeless shelter then. I mean, if we're going or homeless shelters, I mean, if we're going for long haul, yeah, I can slowly work up to politics and stuff like that.
Okay. And I mean, to be fair, if you're the basis of your political campaign later was going to be, you know what, basic living conditions for everybody, then this is definitely a thing to do. It would have happened eventually. So, all right. So what you're going to do is go ahead and make your roll. What skill are you wanting to use for this first? I'm assuming rapport again, probably?
Yeah, I was thinking rapport.
Okay.
Help getting the resources together.
So I'm going to go ahead and say, because you're wanting to set up multiple homeless shelters, right? And securing funding for this and all that jazz?
I would probably start with one and then try and expand depending on the success of that one.
Okay. So I'm going to have you go ahead and roll a rapport. And I'm going to say your target is a 2 for getting the first one set up.
Shit.
Do you want to use the advantage that you made of how you were in good with the politicians? Or do you want to save that and use one of your aspects? Because you can spend a fate point and use one of your aspects to succeed at your roll. Or you can succeed anyway and just take some stress.
Can I use my aspect of having a plan is important, and when that fails, there's 25 other letters to fall back on?
How specifically would you be using that aspect? Like after he oopses and he realizes, ah, crap, I'm not going to be able to get the funding. What would be the fallback plan that he's? Well, I guess the question is like, how is he trying to collect the funding in the first place?
I think first through donations. I think that the second one would be to I know I kind of used it before, but if Mari could help set up this one as well.
What would I be doing?
Funding.
Yeah, just funding.
I mean,
Well, I mean, to paraphrase it then, because Mari wouldn't be like spinning her stuff out of pocket and whatnot. But what we could do is have that backup plan then be if the donations thing didn't work out, Mari would be able to help get that set up so that the numbers would work out.
one of the things that she would be doing anyway is setting up charity within with some of the resources that she has been getting, because tech industry, then having, charitable things, she is setting herself up as a philanthropist too. So that would be part of it. Even if he can get all the money, is what I'm saying, she's still donating.
Okay, then were you not listening to what happened with the roll? He missed it by 1 to try and get the funding and all the logistics together for the first homeless shelter.
Mm-hmm. I was saying, even if he could get the money, is what I was saying, was that she would still be helping. So what do I need to do to help?
Okay, what we were trying to do was he was going to invoke his aspect of having multiple plans, and we can just say that the first plan involved him trying to do it himself, and then the second one is, hey, I just need you to come over here and do this other thing.
Okay.
That's all I was trying to get at. So
I'm just using my aspect, right? To use a fate point?
Yep.
Okay.
There you go. And that gives you a +2, which means that you make your roll. So you get the first one set up, and, as we just kind of described, it was a little bit rocky, but after a little bit more finagling and help, it did. The first one did get set up.
Okay.
But yeah, all I had been trying to say was that she was going to donate regardless.
And that's fine, but he has to make his roll.
By the way, what happened to my picture?
Oh, that
My character sheet has been in the way for this entire time.
Oh, shit. I
And
dropped my
thus,
fidget spinner.
that was the most like 2010 thing that you could have ever said here in the 90s.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, so I'll move that out of the way.
I am not inventing that, by the way, and nobody who gets divine or the spark of ingenuity is going to invent one.
Invent one what?
Are you kidding me? We're in the 90s here. Do you have any idea how popular those damn things would have been in the 90s?
I know, and it pains me even as I sit here playing with one.
Like,
Wait, what are you playing with?
a fidget spinner.
A dildo.
Oh,
But no.
My other thing that I have as a fidget toy is too loud.
Mm,
I'm not allowed to use it.
no, think about it. The 90s were the generation of the yo-yo ball. Tell me a fidget spinner wouldn't be immediately like the most popular toy ever.
Oh, it
actually,
was.
Dolls.
that's not entirely true because apparently fidget spinners have been the earliest ones have been around since 1993.
Oh. Jeez, Jimmy, just pop my idea through all the polls.
I will because
Like
you
your
grossed me
condoms.
out with that fucking burger.
Also,
And then you threatened to come over here and spread your diseases. So no fun for Josh.
My diseases.
Anyway, so you get your orphanage set up, or not orphanage, sorry, homeless shelter.
The homeless shelter.
And yep, and it's a little bit rough. We'll go ahead and say that it takes you the majority of the year to get that thing going. But at the same time, no press is bad press, and since you did succeed at the role, you're not only getting the thing, but you're getting the goodwill for having made the thing, and there's a lot of support for the fact that hey, there shouldn't be that much of an issue with trying to make a friggin' homeless shelter.
Right.
So that's where we're going. That's where Toby's hardships and whatnot are going to go by the end of year 2.
Okay.
Which brings us back to Mari.
Yes.
So, your brain nerve reworky spinal chip thingy into people's brains has been working very well.
Yay.
And you've been kind of rolling in the money as you continue to fine tune the tech for it and whatnot to a point where it's able to work on similar things to what it was designed for and whatnot. So what have you been doing aside from that?
So aside from that, I've been actually trying to get an actual, I guess, company set up. So part of what I want to do is have this this technology be something that I allow other people to work on, I guess. And trying to find a way to make it affordable for all people while still, not bankrupting me. So I guess, yeah, the biggest thing is making a company getting people to come research and work with me.
Okay.
Gathering of the finest minds, as it were.
Okay. So what are you going to roll to do that?
Would that be resources? Because it's like making a company, building my own.
No, because
No?
what specifically resources is using the resources you have, whether that's money or materials or whatever, to try and get stuff. So if you were trying to just bankroll the whole thing or whatever, then yes. But your primary motivation is to pretty much use the money that you're getting from the stuff to feed into itself to. So that's the question. Are you trying to just bankroll, or are you trying to convince people to come and work for to do this work?
Go ahead.
Like, I guess that's where my confusion is. Are you trying to recruit people to a think tank, or are you trying to build a business?
I was building a business.
Then yes, go ahead and roll resources, and you can use your advantage that you made with it if you wanted.
Okay, would that just be a +2 then?
Yep.
Bam.
I haven't looked at it yet, and I was gonna say.
Okay. Sorry.
Because the money is there, so largely all you have to do is just be like, hey, we're hiring and we want people who can work on this. So the biggest hurdle is having people available. I'm going to say that your target number is a 4. What'd you get?
2.
That is not a 4. You have 2 different aspects that would be able to help you with this.
I know, I was looking.
Or you can just succeed anyway. Take 2 points of mental stress. And save your fate points.
The times of greatest advancement are often times of greatest strife. While I'm having a difficult time trying to, get this business rolling and whatnot, can I have had a sudden inspiration of an idea that would help me and use my.
What would the idea be, though? Like, I need to know what you're going to actually do beside, like, or what the effect is of what you're doing, not just can there be an effect.
So there, you said it was because I couldn't find workers, right?
I said that would be the biggest hurdle. I mean, it's finding them and then also trying to recruit them, because people like you're talking about trying to find people that are very knowledgeable in very niche fields, which means that if they are working in those fields, they already have employment. And trying to the grass is greener on the other side, but at the same time, lots of people don't want to leave the jobs that they know, because the evil that you know is easier to deal with than the evil that you don't.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to convince them to get away from whatever think tank or whatever that they're already working at to try and come to yours. So it's kind of a mix of both, and it's up to you, because you're the one rolling it. How is it that those things caused you a problem?
So the strife would be, my not being able to find people willing to come over and work with my company. The idea that I had was that I could, instead of just starting this as a business, I could start it as like I guess in a way, both training and a business, if that makes sense, where I can recruit people who may not have all of the education required or all of the experience required, but are very interested and want to work in this field.
Okay. So then, yeah. So shifting your recruiting campaign from established people to graduates who need to do that. So yes, that would work for invoking the aspect, and that, I believe, yeah, that would put you at the role that you needed.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we can say that you go ahead and succeed at that. But since you did cash in that the medical thing is pulling in all the monies already, there you go. So we then get to the digger.
The Digga. I'd say in year 2, Digga's initial kind of work within the 3 cities amps up a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's got the foundation kind of built first year. Time to do more of the same, but now with the whole, hey, Toby has a place for these people to go. Which, by the way, just for establishment's sake, which of the 3 cities is it in?
Yes.
We'll have to define that today.
Okay, so no, we're talking. Oh, right. The homeless shelter.
Yes, which of the 3 cities is it in?
Okay. So Jimmy, that part is going to be up to you. So Steeldale is on the coast. Emerald, Sacratoma is further south in the mountains. Here, I'll move the map over, and then Emerald Brook is in between the two of them.
Are they all equally as populated?
Yes.
I think I'd rather be in Steeldale.
Okay.
Okay.
So that's where the first homeless shelter is. But I will say that you have, because you were able to set up the orphanages so well, you do have one in like each of the 3 cities.
Yeah. So I think with the whole ramping up part of this, like getting people out of their situations and getting them out of trouble and showing them ways to, help themselves, Digger starts to teach the initial group of people now how to use like sewers and some of and he takes some of his own tunnels to get them to the homeless shelter in Steeldale.
So he's building his own homeless underground.
Yes.
Don't call them that. Consider them Morlock tunnels.
I do not get this reference.
X-Men.
Because you don't read Marvel. Yes, what skill would you consider that?
I guess so. He's setting up the people that he'd already been talking to as ones who are in the know on where the entrances to these tunnels and stuff are.
Yes, and how to get to Steeldale through the sewers and tunnels to get people out of their situations. Because he can't be everywhere. He's just one guy.
Okay, so this is more of a, like, kind of like the underground. When there is an emergency and you like have to get out of the shit that you're in,
mm-hmm.
You need to. These are the tunnels.
Yep. Keep an eye out for people who are in these situations and show them how to do this.
Hey,
Okay.
I already have my plan for year 3.
Okay. As far as for Digger's thing, I'm gonna say that's because the idea is to try and do it on the down low, right?
Yes, because let's face it, I might be able to bait up a pimp. I cannot take on an entire pimp bar yet. Well, not without going divine form.
And even then, potentially bullets can try to hurt you.
Yes.
Like, it's really, really hard, but yeah. And also, since your tunnels aren't exactly, like, sanctioned by city zoning, I'm going to say that you need to roll stealth for this one.
Stealth?
Mm-hmm. Because all of this hinges on it staying quiet.
Okay. Gonna have to burn a fate point.
I was going to say also target is 3.
Okay. That would just okay. So I'm gonna have to succeed at
What would you
take
get?
I'm gonna have to take a consequence.
Ew. Okay, you know what? I know exactly what to give you. You're going to get a mild consequence here.
Okay. Yeah, I choose to succeed anyway, but take a consequence. I could roll with a fate point, Cassie, but at the same time, I'm rolling on a +1, so
Mm.
yeah. Apparently, Matt's computer has notifications for us.
Yep. Yeah, it's still trying to be like, your Outlook is not set up properly. I'm like, there's a reason for that. I don't want to set up Outlook. Stop fucking notifying me. And then I tell it to stop doing it. And it fucking does it anyway.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yep. Okay, so what's my consequence? Am I not
I just put it into your character sheet. I will let you read it out loud, good sir.
The first tunnel was found, the victims did not make it. Pimps and dealers are getting cautious. Okay. I can work with that.
I figure that is directly enough of a problem for your goals that seems appropriate as a mild consequence.
Mm-hmm.
Not super difficult to overcome, but it will take time.
Mm-hmm.
And here's another question that I need to ask, because this is the end of the second year of your guys' endeavors, right?
Mm-hmm.
How closely are you guys, keeping each other informed? Because I know that you guys got a condo for you all to chill out at when you don't have something to do or you just want to be there. But how involved are you all in helping each other's plans out, as far as like the planning of it all?
Well, considering that Cassie's help financing what I'm doing, and Digger is kind of helping to feed everything, I figure we would all be in fairly regular contact.
Plus, we have an apartment.
Yeah, and that's what I was saying. But also at the same time, Chloe, you live in a compound.
Yeah.
So I guess we would just be talking to her whenever she showed up.
I kind of feel like she's just kind of on the outside doing whatever she's doing, and every once in a while she'll end up popping in. It's like, oh yeah, I've been doing this. Good job on whatever you guys are doing. See you later. Bye. Unless someone's like, well, wait a minute. And it's like, hey, can you maybe help with this? Or, hey, that thing you just talked about, maybe we could help you do that.
So maybe like January of year 2, Digger and Bindweed sit down at a table and go, I need your help with some pimps.
Oh shit!
All right. these pimps?
Everywhere.
That's really...
Not helpful.
I mean, it's not very helpful, Digger.
We'll say that the particular incident came out of Sacratoma.
Okay. So
It was one of your tunnels from Sacratoma that was going to lead up to Emerald Brook, and then from Emerald Brook they were going to head up to Steeldale.
They're in Sacratoma. Their handlers, and while on, the night's walks, they tend to hang out near a park. I was thinking maybe they could have a little bit of a run-in with some trees.
You don't tell me how to do my job, but they're making my job easier.
Mm-hmm.
I
mean, they already don't like me. I just need
right.
to give them a little push.
I imagine you do want survivors to tell the story, right?
Diggers takes a moment and thinks. I'm of two minds. Yeah, survivors to tell the story would be great. However, they're already on guard, and they'd be more on guard if someone was survived to tell the story. Your thoughts?
Well, I mean, if yeah, I guess I can see that. Like, if we rattle this, a survivor, they might think that that they're just a little unhinged.
Mm-hmm.
But on the other hand, if they believe them, well, you can't really fight the trees. I mean, you can, but it's really, really silly to try. I mean, I guess I could go out there with a whole bunch of axes and saws, and then I will have to murder them all. But
the fact is, there will always be more. If we take care of these, new people will fall into their place. It's an industry, after all. A vacuum doesn't survive long. However, anyone who walks in will be on the back foot. That's where I want them. Where they don't know exactly what to expect from me, us, or these cities.
but that's kind of okay, I guess. If they all just mysteriously disappear, I got you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I can work that.
I mean, I take this to Toby or Mari, but they have public personas that they need to keep squeaky clean. We don't have that problem.
Right. As far as anyone's concerned, I'm just a dirty hippie.
And I'm just a nameless, proselytizing street bum.
That's fine. That's fine.
So yeah, let's get to work.
Right. This will be fairly simple. Especially since they like to hang around a park.
I know, right? I mean, I had originally thought, like, Toby could portal them to Monster Island or whatever, but,
Certainly. I completely understand.
This sends more of a message.
I mean, it's not going to, because they're just going to disappear permanently.
It less message, more a thing that's straight up her alley. I need some motherfuckers to disappear.
You need some motherfuckers to disappear? Well, I got some trees that need some fertilizer, so...
But no, seriously, that was a thought I've actually had, was Toby could send them somewhere. It could just be a matter of Jameson walking into the nearest pimp bar and being like, "Hey guys, you all suck," and then running out the door, and then when they open up the door, Toby just teleports them somewhere else.
Psych, motherfuckers!
But no, that could potentially ruin what Toby's doing. Like, I can see it now.
Only if he gets caught.
Upcoming political star implicated in the disappearance of 34 pimps. That headline's not one we want.
It all depends on what political platform I want to run on.
The pro pimp murder one, apparently.
That's his party name. So yeah, let's get to year 3, because this sounds like it's going to be fun.
Okay, so starting with Bindweed. So what is she? Because like her thing is going to be like a weekend, and that's about it. So what is she doing for the other 51 weeks of the year?
Oh, well, you know, like I said, we're gonna be like talking to hippies, trying to, you know, get them around to the tenets of the particular way of life. If they're not very proactive, try to get them out there more to, like, you know, small things first, like clean up the park, or, you know, this company supposedly, like, you know, has been dumping here, so get some protests going. Small things.
Mm-hmm. So she's also getting like she's getting public worksy by the sounds of it, right? Like that, is that the focus, or is it more on the protests of y'all motherfuckers need to stop killing, stop killing our poison ivy?
No, we're starting small, so probably more the worksies.
Okay.
But, you know, she's still going to be an outspoken proponent of more aggressive measures. Like, we're not going to go straight to kill them all or anything like that.
But if you deserve it, you deserve. Like, I'm not going to run you over with the bus. I just might not be too inspired to warn you. Like that one?
I think it'd be more like you'll get a get out of the way, the bus is coming, but if you don't do anything, I'm not gonna bother trying to swerve, kind of thing.
Okay.
Like, if anyone else wants to get like directly violent on their own, I'm gonna let them, but otherwise, you know, we're trying to be like, you know, we're not trying to start some major shit right now, so.
Okay. So, I mean, at this point, I'm not even sure what you would roll. Like, you're just kind of there doing a thing. Like, they're kind of doing it. It's kind of a thing that they already do. You're just coordinating it. Or I guess in a way you're kind of solidifying your position within Yeah, okay, there you go. Like, if you're coordinating it, you're kind of solidifying your position as a leader amongst them, right?
Sure. Yes. Yeah.
And because like there's not a administration skill. I feel like I probably should have made one.
Well, I mean, I am dealing with people and all that. Would that be rapport?
Yeah, and that's what I think we're gonna do. So we're gonna say, because this is gonna be pretty straightforward, we're just gonna say target 2.
Okie dokie.
You succeed with style. How would you like to create an advantage?
Hmm. I don't know. Any suggestions?
Well, you're just trying to convert people, right? Or was this the attacking of the pimps?
No.
I don't know. The attacking of the pimps is kind of there's not a goddamn thing they can do to save themselves in this regard, so there's not even going to be a roll. We're just going to assume that it was appropriately mysterious and fertilizing.
Does that mean I get rid of my consequence?
Well, more Emily gets rid of your consequence. Because unless she's going to take out every pimp in the city.
Mm-hmm. No.
Like, because that's what your consequence is. Okay. Let me make sure that I understand the situation. The one that found the tunnel and specifically caused the problem is the one that Emily is going to go disappear. Right?
And a bunch of his friends.
And a bunch of his friends. Yeah. Right?
Right.
Okay. But a bunch of the other pimps know that something is up, even if they don't have the details.
True.
So unless she's going to disappear every pimp in the city, which you could do over the course of a couple of years, and then they're eventually going to be like, this is a job with a really shitty survival rate. Forget turnover rate, survival rate is a problem. And then that kind of solves the same thing, but it doesn't get you worshippers.
That's true.
It solves the problem, just not gets you worshippers.
But it does support one of the tenets of his faith that, the community needs to protect itself.
But is the community protecting itself at that point?
No, but I could spin it that way.
The community is our trees. They will protect us.
Actually,
no.
Actually, that
once the guy disappears and with them all on heightened alert, I could spin it that okay, well, we tried to be peaceful about this. Now we have to actually protect our community.
Okay, and we'll get to that part for you, but I just need to know. So she's just taking out the guys that were the problem with the tunnel.
Yes.
And anybody that knew about the tunnel.
Yes.
Okay. So what I was gonna say is, Emily, as a suggestion,
Mm-hmm.
what if her whole preaching about the duality and balance of nature and blah 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 to be respected, yada yada yada, hippie talk, and the protests, what if it ends up being rather successful? All of a sudden her compound now goes from those are those crazy people that live out in the woods just outside of the city limits to now, no, they are actually a political movement. They are a thing that is actually being taken seriously.
That sounds good. Yeah.
Okay, so we can call this little advantage that you can bring in later. Fuck, what would we call this?
getting good with the local politics.
Inspired activism?
It should have the word hippie in it.
Go forth, my hippie army.
Don't know.
But what was the thing you said, Jimmy?
Dirty
Getting
hippie
good
mission.
with the local politicians.
Okay, somebody else had said something.
Oh, that was me.
I just... What was it?
Go forth, my hippie army.
No, before that.
No, Emily said aspiring activism.
Inspiring activism.
Oh, yeah. I like that one. I'm gonna twist it. Oh shit. There you go. It's not wanting to cooperate very well. There you go. You now have 2 advantages. Well, no, that one's an advantage. The other one was just a where you were at. So I think we know that you're being a cult leader. Okay, so we get to Toby. You said you know what you wanted to do for your 3rd year.
Yes. This whole underground network thing makes me want to inspire others to protect the underground.
Okay, so getting a little bit less on the grand public scale and more
Well, I'm still going to try and open another homeless shelter, but also, I mean, it's in the dogma that I'm that the underground is important.
Yeah.
So those are my 2 focuses.
So here's what we're gonna do then, because one of them involves on the political grand scale, and the other one is more like a on the down low. Hey, I know that what they're doing is not legally sanctioned, but it's ethical. So we need to support this. But he's I'm assuming he's trying to do it quietly, since that's kind of how Digger is setting up the whole thing.
Yes.
Okay, so what I'm going to have you do is you're going to be able to do both roles for this year, but I need to know which one is your primary focus, and we will roll that first, and then the second one will be rolled at a little bit of a higher difficulty value. Not much, just gonna be like friggin' 1 point off from what I was going to have it be. But which one is going to be the primary focus?
I will say that I was just trying to think. I think the primary focus should be the homeless shelter, just because with all of these people coming through, I'm obviously going to need more room.
Okay, so go ahead and roll your rapport on that one. And sorry, I keep forgetting to give a target number before. You've already got it established. At this point, it's just rinse and repeat of the same method. So I'm going to say that this one's difficulty 2.
And I got that.
Hey! For any of you at home who keep thinking that I keep dictating this beforehand, you can ask Cassie. I'm looking at other tabs, and I click over. Anyway, so yeah, so you will say that you have, because you just met the number instead of exceeding it, you have, and also knowing about the underground, the homeless shelters that you set up in the southern 2 cities, like Sacratoma and oh shit, what was the other
Emerald something?
Was it Emerald Brook or something? Forget. I remember Emerald. Yeah, Emerald Brook. I should probably put that on the session page.
Probably.
Anyway, so those ones are more like they're temporary, I guess. Like they're if you're okay with it, that is, I should say. They're it seems like you would be wanting to set them up as more like transitory stations, where if somebody is needing to get away from, if they're going to be going in through the digger tunnels, as it were, they're just there for until they're making that trip. But otherwise, it does have the ability to accommodate people that are stuck there long term who don't need to get away from anything.
Okay.
So, like your main one is still up in Steelbrook. Is that
Right. No, it makes sense.
okay? I just wanted to make sure that that's
because it's all kind of like the underground railroad type of thing.
exactly. Okay. And so then for your next one, and the whole trying to get people to social, like hey, like pretty much expanding on what Digger's doing, trying to get people aware of it, trying to get people to support it and whatnot, but not trying to be blatant and in the open about it because that kind of defeats the purpose. You're going to also be rolling a stealth just like Digger would, but because you are inherently in the public eye, and it's your secondary thing, I'm going to make this one a difficulty 5. And I had to reload roll 20. It kicked the bucket on me. Alright, so go ahead and roll your stealth. Ooh, that is not a 5.
Can I since I'm still not familiar with how fate works, can I use a fate point and take a mental stress?
Actually, that's a question I'm not even sure if I want to say yes. But which aspect would you invoke to
People are
+2?
able to lead themselves. We all just needed to be pointed in the same direction.
That is a fucking good one to invoke. So yes, that would put you 1 point short. And Josh, you've read the book more thoroughly than I have. That it sounds like sound logic, right?
He also could re-roll.
Yeah, he could re-roll. What was the target number he needed to reach?
5.
5.
You could also invoke your aspect of how you got in good with the local politicians, and say that you're having them help you instead of doing it largely yourself.
Yeah,
and then you would make the number.
You could rock that. You could also just say that simply because they're on you have their eyes on you, that the guys can't make a move. It would be too risky to take out a guy who's got the DA watching him.
Well, because mostly the concern is that if he's trying to spread the word of the digger tunnels and stay quiet, like maintain diggers
and have people protecting it as well, or being watchful of people coming through the tunnel.
Right.
But you know what? Maybe I'll go ahead and use the advantage because I can get in good with the politicians in Emerald Blaze. And
you're using the advantages. You're already in good standing with them. This is you pretty much like calling in favors, like, hey guys, this is a thing I want to work on, but it needs to stay quiet, yada yada. And so
I know how I can do it, and I know how it can be used to their advantage as well. Mm-hmm. Nobody likes the homeless. Having them disappear from their cities would make it.
Off the street.
I hate the homelessness problem that plagues our city.
Well, no, it's just on a politics. Nobody wants to appear to like the homeless. So being able to ferry them to different cities to take care of them, they can kind of take credit for, oh, look, I'm getting rid of the homeless.
But again, the digger tunnels rely on their covertness to function.
Right, but even if it's just a lower appearance of homeless on the streets.
Okay.
Am I not explaining this correctly?
Well, okay, so what it sounded like is it would help advance their political agendas by supporting the thing. Okay. No, are you saying that? Okay, I think I figured out what you're saying. So you're talking about when you use your advantage by going to the politician saying, guys, you don't have to do anything other than just keep this shit secret, but promote while still promoting its use, yada yada. And in the end, here's what how you benefit from helping me out.
Right.
Is that what we're talking about? Okay.
Yes.
I get it then. Okay. So yeah, that would be how you would invoke that aspect.
Okay.
And then, like you said, people are able to lead themselves, just have to point them in the right direction. That's literally what you're doing. So
Sweet.
yeah, you invoke those two things and you make your target number.
Okay.
All right. So toss in a fate point, and I just deleted the advantage you had.
Okay.
Boom. All right, Myriad. End of year 3.
All right, the things that I was wanting to do, it was to, words. I had this whole thing set up. All right, I am wanting to not only continue with my business that is helping people get into the industry, but I also want to start helping with Toby's homeless shelters by providing trainings and basically self-improvement classes to help them get back up on their feet.
Oh,
So
awesome.
For just basic basic economics, basic general education, how just the education to get on their feet, or are you trying to fund, or are you talking about trying to guide them towards these more technical fields that your think tank thing is already working through?
A little bit of both, where I want to fund the basic education type things, but also have special workshops for different tech industries, as by now I'm probably getting started branching out into different industries into different specializations within the tech industry. But yeah, having specialized workshops, specialized classes for that, as well as just getting on your feet.
Okay. So that will make the role a little bit harder to do. What I want to know, because you have to try to bankroll this somehow. You already used your other advantage. So, you can roll resources now to try and see if you're able to get that to work. I think your target number is going to be, because this, setting up a business is one thing. Setting up a major investment like this with literally zero guarantee of return is a bit harder to do.
So where this
hold on. So if you do it by throwing a resources roll now, it's going to be a target number 4. Alternatively, you can pool up the money and roll this time around to just try to create an advantage for later use, which would be you setting aside funds to start this later.
So where this was coming from, it was going to be like she would teach as far as the the workshops for more technological things, that would be something that she would do in her own time, where I wouldn't be necessarily needing to have a ton of resources for it.
Okay, so it's okay. So it's more sign up classes that where the teachers are by volunteer.
Yeah. These things are actually fairly common nowadays too, just maybe not specifically tech industry type classes. But where it's not like giving somebody their degree, but it's giving them a start of, this is a way you could go with this.
Yeah, it's the knowledge, not necessarily certifications. Got it. Okay, so that being the case, then you're going to just go ahead and because for the technical ones, I want to say that you'd just be rolling your crafts thing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to figure out what you would roll for the other. I guess just will. No, will doesn't even fit because that's all about your mental fortitude.
Do we want to just focus on the technology? Hold on. Okay.
So, which I'm not even sure what skill you would even toss for just teaching somebody, like, here's how you balance a fucking checkbook and all that.
I mean, those ones in particular, I could probably bankroll as part of the charity, because she has been throwing money at transit. I love that you gave him the Captain Hammer name, by the way.
Okay, so go ahead and roll your crafts, just crafts, and
Mm-hmm.
you're going to say your target number for this is going to be like, well, okay. So is the goal literally just for them to improve their body of knowledge, or are you trying to see if you can educate any of them enough to bring them into your think tank stuff?
It would be increasing their body of knowledge and giving them like basic skills that they could then go and continue, expanding upon.
Okay, I get that, but I'm talking about the ones that you're trying to give. For the people that sign up to the more technical things and whatnot, right? Are you wanting to bring them into your R&D thing, or is literally just improving the level of education of these people? Is that the primary goal, or what is it that she is? What is the goal that benefits Mari, or is she just trying to do it just out of entirely altruism?
Altruism and trying to spread her. Okay, the thing that benefits her is when she's teaching, she is spreading her dogma. But mostly this is out of altruism. If somebody goes to all of the classes, then they might learn a specific skill, I guess. I haven't thought of what the exact skill that they're going to learn is. But I was thinking, there are some, classes that do Excel and some classes that teach, more specific things. It's that type of class.
Okay, so then at that point, there's really nothing to roll at that point.
I'm sorry.
It's fine. I mean, it is establishing a story point. I thought when you were talking about more technical things, Excel is not technical. You're playing a sentient robot who has the ability to inspire people to go from, like, we have a B-52 to now we have a B-52 carrying a nuke. So that's why I was wanting to be clear on what you meant by technical. So if you're...
I wasn't saying that I am teaching them Excel. I'm saying that that's the type of thing I was modeling this idea after. What is, like those classes, free classes that you can take that expand expand your body of knowledge and help you find skills and find jobs into more actual careers. So it would be something that is I don't know. Never mind.
Okay, because if all you're doing is trying to improve their general level of education, that is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. I just and it seems like that's what you're describing. But then when I said that that's what it was you were trying to do, you got in a huff. So are you trying to raise some of them up to being like engineers, or are you just trying to help get them out of homeless shelters?
I guess for now I'll just get them out of homeless shelters.
Okay, because neither one is a wrong answer. I just need to know what it is that you were trying to do in the first place.
Well, because I kind of want to help them get careers, but I don't have any ideas of how to do that. So getting them out of homeless shelters it is.
Those two are the same thing then, because you need income to get out of a homeless shelter. So at that point, we're just going to say that that's the thing that she is doing periodically, and there's not really going to be a role for that because there isn't a skill that is actually appropriate for that.
Okay. Like, I would teach them a more specified skill if I could think of it right now, but my brain is gone.
Technically,
Josh, it sounded like you had something.
Technically, if you wanted to teach another character something, you'd roll lore.
But our lore ended up getting rolled into divine lore.
Yes, it's true. Well, if she's also peppering the lessons with little things to favor the Pantheon and her own modus operandi, it's technically divine lore.
Is that a thing you want to do, Cassie?
Sure, I can do that.
Okay. So,
I failed.
Okay, I haven't even looked at it yet, and I didn't even get... What?
I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said that. I know you didn't give me a number.
So, given that you're not... Like, the thing that you're doing isn't exactly difficult, we just have to figure out if it's having any effect or not, or if it's taking... And so, are you trying to teach people about all four gods, or just the demigoddess of ingenuity? Because, like, if I'm remembering right, and if I'm understanding right, pretty much all four of you have something in your dogma about self-improvement being a cornerstone of the faiths.
So my hope was to pepper in, bits of dogma from all of us.
Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and say for that one, it's going to be because you're not trying to do active conversion, just trying to get the information out. Then we're going to say target 2.
I failed.
Do you have any aspects to throw out?
I guess I could throw out that the one I did before, the times of greatest advancement are often times of greatest strife because they're homeless. That's kind of big strife. They don't have anywhere else to go but up.
Yeah, that is an applicable one because they're in a pretty shitty part of their lives, and so trying to advance that one would work. So there you go.
Okay.
So we'll get to some more of that later. So then, Digger. So you had a culling of pimps. You had to try to, or I'm sorry, it sounded like you wanted to try and put a spin on.
A little bit. trying to think how best to phrase this. My initial reaction is I should probably like start getting rid of the consequence, but no, you know what? Screw the consequence. Digger's gonna start a war.
Oh, yay.
So let me explain how that happens. Around the time that the pimps disappear suddenly, right? Digger calls everyone he's still got an ear to, because obviously the tunnel, one of the first groups going through getting killed, you know, has not done him any favors. So he needs to do something to rally people. So he gathers together everyone who he can in a secretive location. Stands in front of him and basically makes something of a speech. It's easy for people like us to think we don't matter, that the world can take us or leave us and won't know the difference when we're gone, and all we'll leave behind are piles of debts and pizza boxes. We love, we labor, none of it really weighs an ounce.
That was the wrong song.
That was the wrong song. But I've got something to tell you. You know it in your heart. You all do. You're too scared to listen. I can't blame you. But I'm going to tell you all the same. You all matter more than you can imagine. You're capable of more than you believe, and what you can achieve will change your life. Outside, right now, fiends and terrorists prowl our streets and our cities. They affect every single one of you. But this city belongs to us. And it's about time we all reminded them of that. And then Digger hopefully riles up everyone. And starts them getting to work on a more on-hands way of dealing with the problem. As well as leading groups of people in removing problem elements.
So at this point, it's the homeless and the disenfranchised prostitutes are taking the fight to the pimps and the sweatshop runners and all that, and the dealers and all that. So Digger is cleaning up the streets. Digger's cleaning up the streets with us. You're about to get run over by a Zamboni.
So what would that be to roll?
You are straight up rolling fight, good sir.
Awesome. Fight's good for me.
Well, hold on. Actually, before I even look at that roll,
Okay.
because I didn't give you a target number yet, but one of the I'm okay. So as I'm thinking about this,
Okay.
how quiet are you trying to keep this street war, or do you not give a shit? Because you are the fucking demigod of tunnels, and convenient sewer entrances can appear and disappear as you so wish.
That's true.
If your people can get in and out and succeed, pretty much as long as you don't leave any of your bodies behind, you win.
Right.
So the question is, how public is this whole the people who don't deserve to live on the street thing, but are stuck here, are taking the streets back because our quality of life we deserve better than this. So how quiet is this movement going to be? Or is this just going to be a no, fuck all of this?
Oh, that's a tough question. That's a tough question.
It is.
Because I think he's trying to keep active law enforcement from getting involved. That's what I think. I think he's trying to make sure that none of his people get hurt, and yet he's trying to motivate them to do something for themselves. Like, he can protect and run away all that he wants, but eventually the time kind of comes to fight. But he definitely does not want it spilling out into other sections of society. So...
Okay.
extrapolate from that.
Okay. So, just in regards to how... okay, I'm sorry, I missed the last part. So he's trying to keep law enforcement from having to be involved.
He's trying to keep it from spilling over into other, just to avoid unnecessary, like, people who don't deserve it getting caught into this. He's trying to keep it isolated to just this band of society, you know. Not pulling on to people who aren't involved in this fight.
But at the same time, he does, like, people being aware is not a thing he's trying to avoid.
Yeah, he's not really trying to avoid that. Like, it might hit the news or something that, like, oh yeah, there's a lot of people just kind of ending up strangely dead in certain parts of the city.
Okay, so here's a thing, because you haven't. There's a skill on your sheet you have not used at all yet, and so you're going to do 2 different roles, and from what I understand of Digger's personality, I'm going to kind of make an assumption here, but his primary focus, as much as he wants to get the streets cleaned up, his primary focus will be none of his people get hurt.
Exactly.
Right?
Especially after he's already gotten so many people hurt.
Just like we just did with Toby, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to roll 2 things. One of them is going to be your primary focus.
Okay.
You're rolling your blessing to try your blessing of protection.
Okay.
You create an advantage to defend, blah, 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 blah. This one, we're just going to roll to see if he is able to, through his blessing, because he's already been teaching the people about this. These are the fucking tenets of the tunnel serpent, right?
Yep.
So he's like, fucking turn this into a goddamn crusade, mister. I was going to make crusaders anyway.
Hey, look, it all worked out.
So, yeah. So your whole thing of, like, we're fighting the fight that the tunnel serpent wants us to fight, go with his blessing. They don't have to know that it's you giving them the fucking blessing.
Right.
So you're going to roll that.
Okay.
And you're going to... I want you to roll a target of... Yep, we're going to go with target of 2.
Okay. Let's hope this works. 4.
Oh, well, not quite succeed with style, but you did in fact succeed. So yes, over the course of this whole thing...
Actually...
What?
Since it is... I know I succeed.
Mm-hmm.
But this is a very bravado thing.
It's ticket time! Throw the fate point.
I do want to succeed with style, so I'm throwing the fate point, and it is digging time.
Okay. So you now have an advantage. What is your advantage?
I just made a group of people think they could fight a war with being just because of this. Can fight a war and basically come out invincible. Why not take the last line from his speech? What you can achieve will change your life. His followers are pumped.
Okay, so that is your thing.
Okay. Okay, and what's the second thing I'm going to be rolling?
Now you're rolling fight. How successful is this offensive war?
I have already rolled.
And your target number...
Okay.
Your target number is going to be... Well, I guess actually that does get into one of the things. How much is he on the front line of each of these battles? I call them battles, but like, let's be honest, it's more freaking jump this dude in an alley when he doesn't expect it and beat the shit out of him.
Yes. I think he's going to be, if not, because again, like, motivate them to take it into their own hands. He might not be he's going to be on hand, close by on almost all of them. Every time he can be. I don't think he's actually going to deliberately fight, though, unless he has to, unless something goes wrong.
Okay. So then, since the fighting is largely happening through leadership, a leadership thing, I'm going to say that your target is a 4.
Okay. Got a 5.
You got a 5. There you go. So, yeah, everybody else's plans, like, all of your stuff, everybody else's stuff happens really well over the course of this, or I shouldn't say really well, but, you know, everybody else's turns and all that happen over the course of this year. Then we get to, like, September. And like, Digger, like, walked into the condo. He's like, I'm fucking done. We're fixing this. I'm letting you guys know now, or whatever. And then he goes off and he does his thing. And, like, by the end of November, Sacratoma, like, the news is having to cover it as there has been massive street violence. It is being investigated. It is assumed to be the work of some, given the nature of the victims, inter-gang violence or something or another. But given that, with the exception of, violent street crime being on the rise, all other forms of organized crime are rapidly declining. It, like, within a couple of weeks, it's being marked as, like, just rampant vigilantism.
Oh no!
And instead of gang violence and all that. And so, like, by the time you get to the 12 days of Christmas, any pimp with fucking, or dealer, or anybody with half a fucking brain worth of sense is fucking fleeing. Because, fucking, Slim Jim Malone or whatnot they're like, he had a fucking, like, bunker for his freaking, base of operations or whatever, and they took him out in the middle of it, and there was nothing. Like, the police came up with fucking nothing. They even tried to bribe him to get information out of it, and they're like, yeah, well, except we have fucking nothing. They, like, it's fucking ghosts.
Ghosts.
Fucking homeless ghost assassins. So, yeah, Sacratoma is at this point fucking empty of just about all organized street crime, except for, like, the middlemen, who don't have the ability to just, because it wasn't even their day job in the first place, but they can't afford to just fucking book it. So with all of the upper guys leaving and whatnot, they're just like, well, fuck it, I guess time, back to being poor and working my 9 to 5. And so, like, everything for, like, 4 or 5 months is super on edge. But at the same time, so many people are like, I'm not complaining.
Hey, Toby.
What?
Thanks for getting my people those secure places. That's one thing I didn't have to focus on.
You're welcome.
And we have Mari's school, so that then once all this fighting's done, I don't have a bunch of soldiers who all they can do is kill people. That's great. And Chloe, without you, I wouldn't have had the reason to kick it all off. This has been good.
So, I do also want to say that by the end of this nonsense, Josh, even though Jameson has been trying to tone down his stuff and whatnot, at the same time, he was the catalyst for the fanaticism
Yeah.
there. So
Unfortunately.
he's kind of on a pedestal with all of these people.
All hail the tunnel snake.
Mm-hmm. So, so at this point, we're getting towards the end of year 3. We're going to say that things are like simmering down a little bit because that was like 5 months of like just super fucking constant violence as far as that whole thing goes. The rest of you guys like kind of, you know, finish your projects pretty much by the end of the fiscal year and everything. And you're having your biannual, you know, loitering meeting over at the condo, and then so I know that Toby and Chloe are all like, you know, good for you and whatnot. But what is Mari's take on the whole Digger declaring a street war and getting rid of the stupid people?
Well, we gotta teach people to, you know, defend themselves. I do agree with that. And helping them get out of a bad situation and improve themselves fits right in with my dogma.
Okay. So you guys are having a good laugh at, dude, you should have seen their faces. And then
I busted through that bunker wall, and he's like, "Oh my god, it was you!" And then the hobos flooded in with lead pipes.
Okay.
Let's not call them hobos. They're migrant revolutionaries.
No. No. I know exactly
Does
what
that
we call
make
them.
them refugees?
No. I know exactly what we call them. They're our followers.
Yep. Also, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I vote not it. No nose goes.
No, yeah, no, not me.
Oh, fuck it, I'll do it.
So
What did I just volunteer for?
there was a knock at the door.
To open the door.
So when you open the door, you see this. The person standing in front of you is tall, bald, clean-shaven, like kind of dull gray eyes, and he just kind of looks bored. And Josh, move for a second.
Okay.
And and when I say tall, I mean like when Chloe opens the door, you've always described Chloe as being, you know, relatively short. He kind of looks down. Oh, first of all, I should say, you open the door and you see him, and all of you get that sense of, I am sensing something. I am sensing a creature of divinity.
Okay.
But at the same time, like, where with whenever each of you guys is around each other, you feel the spark of it, the vibrancy of the power. And even with the monsters, like it feels a little bit off, but they are still made of souls, and they are made of energy and such, and so you feel that. When you look at this guy, it's not energy. Like it doesn't feel like you just stuck a fork into an electrical socket. It feels like you just turned on a channel to nothing but static. And when he looks down at Bindweed, he just says, "It is a pleasure to meet you. My name is Ryan Xavier Richards." And that, ladies and gentlemen, is where we're going to end the session. I want to say goodnight, everybody.
Night.
Good night.
Bye.
Night.
Play that music.
No time for rest, no pillow for my head, nowhere to run from this, no way to forget. Around the shadows creep, like friends they cover me. Just wanna lay me down and finally try to get some sleep. Carry on through the storm, tired soldiers in this war. Remember what we're fighting for. Meet me on the battlefield, even on the darkest night. I will be your sword and shield, your camouflage, and you will be mine. Echoes of the shots ring out. We may be the first to fall. Everything could stay the same, or we could change it all. Meet me on the battlefield. We're standing face to face with our own human race. We commit the sins again, and our sons and daughters pay. Our tainted history is playing on repeat, but we could change it if we stand up strong and take the lead. I was younger, I was named a generation unafraid. For the heirs to come, be brave and meet me on the battlefield. Even on the darkest night, I will be your sword and shield, your camouflage, and you will be mine. Echoes of the shots ring out. We may be the first to fall. Everything could stay the same, or we could change it all. Meet me on the battlefield.